Radio app.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Oh, yes, girl. Get your cup of tea and mic check, 1, 2. I am so ready.
To inspire, motivate, and educate. Weekends on UMERADIO. The sun is up and so are we.
News, interviews, hot topics. Connect with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Follow, comment, subscribe.
We're everywhere. UMERADIO app, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and all other digital platforms. Email us info@umeradio.com. On WhatsApp, 201-503-6731. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UMERadio. Follow me, Jesse, on Instagram at ink.jess, that's ink.jess, and on Facebook at Jesselyn Abel, that's JESSELYNE, Abel, ABEL.
And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J. Or you can just check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UMERadio with Marsha J and Jesse.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UMERadio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
Hi, morning, guys. Morning, Marsha. I think you're on mute, girl.
That's why Saturdays are awesome. They are for and relaxation. Good morning. How are you?
How are you today?
Fantastic. I'm in the land of the living and I am up and running.
Yes.
It's Saturday. It's been raining all week. Today it's sunny. As you can see.
It is sunny. Yeah, here the sun is coming out. I had a good weekend. It was Thanksgiving here in America. So even though it was a little bit different, it was still nice to spend some time with family. So yeah.
That's awesome. Happy, what should I say? Happy post-Thanksgiving.
Post-Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think that's a new word.
Yes. What was your menu like?
So we had turkey, we had lasagna, stuffing, wild rice and cranberry, apple pie, green beans and carrots, and cornbread, and am I missing anything? I think I got everything for now. Yeah.
Listen, you all sound like you had a feast.
We were good. Yep. Got the itis kicking in, but it was good. It was good.
That's awesome. And of course, we want to say a great Saturday morning, good morning, and welcome to Weekends on UMERadio with Marsha J and
Jesse.
Amplifying the voice of
positive influencers.
Awesome. And so go ahead, Jesse.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say that, before we start, we got to say thank you to all our sponsors that are allowing us to do this today. So first, we want to give a shout out to UME Digital Inc. They are on a plan and on a mission to empower 1 million people, guys. What they do, they establish, develop, register, and promote your brand, and you get your own digital marketplace. So why not become a member of the success plan? So head on over to UME Digital Inc., that's inc.com/EDRP to learn more. Now, I know about you and the holidays are coming up, and I know a lot of people are gravitating more to faith, whether they've had it before, they lost it, but it really, really is important. And one awesome sponsor of ours is Mindfulness in Ministry and Masterclass. So I really strongly urge you guys to check them out on Udemy or visit their website, www.mycoachministry.com.
Awesome stuff.
Yes. And while we're on the subject of faith, again, Marsha, it's an empowerment tool. We need it for businesses.
Yes.
Businesses need to intertwine faith. And there is an awesome company called Business Tree, and it's an empowerment tool for faith-based businesses. So I want you to check them out on accessbusinesstree.com. That's accessbusinesstree.com to learn more.
Awesome.
So are you going out, Marsha? Did you go out?
Yeah. I am. Say that again. Oh, I can't believe I can't hear you this morning. Go ahead. Say that again.
It's okay. Did you go out this weekend?
This weekend, well, I haven't gone out yet, but my goddaughter is celebrating her birthday. Shout out to little lady Elena. Yeah,
Oh,
she is
happy
1 year old today.
oh,
Woo-hoo! So I'm hoping to see her a little bit later.
yeah. So I know that a lot of people are, buying presents. It's the holidays.
Yes,
But I know sometimes that brick and mortar store honestly is slowly weeding itself out. A lot of people are starting to buy online. So if
that's
you
true.
have a business but you don't have an online storefront, you want to get started now and get yourself together before brick and mortar kind of slowly goes
Oh,
out.
girl, and guess what? It
But
is Black Friday. Black
oh
Friday
yes,
weekend, Cyber
yes,
Monday happening
sales.
for sure.
So I know I'm doing my shopping online.
Mm. The
I know I'm
discounts
doing
are
it.
crazy. Well, it's the
Yes.
one thing you can actually say thank God for COVID,
Yeah.
because where I am, Black Friday is now being extended to 2 whole weeks.
Oh, awesome. I know I heard that, and I heard some stores are doing it like a month, like the whole month of this.
Whoa,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
guys, that's some serious sales.
Yep. Yep. So I want you guys to get your sales and get your items because this place is awesome. And if you have a business, I want you guys to get set up for your online storefront today. So you have to go to shop and own, that's shop, the letter N,
Mhm.
own.com. And Black Friday sales, we got a discount code for you. You got to
Yeah.
put in WWMJ for your
Mhm.
items purchased. Get that
And
discount.
not only that, Jesse,
What?
but they don't just only get to shop,
Uh-huh.
but if you are transitioning from brick and mortar to virtual, they
Mm-hmm.
have a whole store front for you too.
For that, guys, come on. You
Shop
got,
and own. How cool
yep,
is that?
shopandon.com and put in that discount
Literally.
code. I need you guys to save some money, okay? It's hard now. Last but not least,
Yes.
if you have your own store, or really just your own business per se, but you don't know how to market yourself correctly. You don't know how to use social media, specifically Facebook, because millions and millions of people are on Facebook still. Facebook isn't going away. Why not go to bossupwithjess.com? It gives you an educational platform that teaches you step by step how to grow your business and also pays you while you're earning and while you're learning how to do that. So head up to bossupwithjess.com to know more info.
Awesome. Awesome. And of course, we do this every week, guys. You know where we're going next with this, right? The
Mm-hmm.
voting continues. This is our first whole month as Marsha
Yeah,
J and Jesse. Woo-hoo!
yeah, we
So we're
got
definitely looking forward to confetti at some point.
it.
But
Mm-hmm.
until then, the battle continues because
Yes.
there is a whole set of music happening on this
Uh-huh.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. What? What? No. It's on my side, guys. My list this week is insane. Okay, it's insane. It's popping.
Okay, so what's on your list this week?
All right, so my list first song is called Sound of Victory, and it is
Mhm.
by Travis Green, also featuring The Truth and Limo Blaze. And this
Mhm.
is like a really cool African Caribbean, like, right, it's just an awesome mix of everything. Gospel
Sounds
song, which
retro.
is just awesome. It's awesome. And then we have Yonder, which is an updated modern take on the gospel classic Yonder, and this
Mhm.
features Salem Remy, Nas, and Jennifer Hudson. So you got the hip
Wow.
hop, you got Jennifer Hudson, you got old school like gospel sounds in there. So that's really, really cool. And third, we have Look No Further by Evie McKenney. I hope I'm saying her name right. If you've guys seen her before, she was actually on the Four talent show kind of thing, and she won one of
Mhm.
the seasons. So she's an awesome, awesome powerhouse. Then we have Hold Me Close by Kalante Gavin. He is an up and coming, like he just burst out of nowhere viral gospel singer. And when I tell
Yeah, I know
you,
him.
he's insane, right, Marsha?
Yes, he is.
He's
Awesome vocalist.
yeah, I don't know where he got that. That's blessed, because
That voice.
yes.
Yeah.
And last but not least, it's Kanye West. If you guys don't know, he had a whole gospel album earlier this year, I think it dropped. Yeah. But this is one song that really, really is powerful for me. It's called God Is. It's simple, it's short, but it really is great.
Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Well, on my list this week, thankfully, I am definitely bringing everything back. There's a saying in Jamaica that goes, "It's so nice, you gotta do it twice."
Yeah.
And so this week, for those who missed last week, my playlist remains the same with Recover by Jennifer Lewin. And guess what, guys? She's gonna be on the show soon, so stay.
No.
Right? And of course, I am so for the holidays and feeling festive. So I still get up every day and listen to the Winter Coffee Jazz by Cafe Music BGM channel on YouTube. And of course, Bob Marley, don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is gonna be all right. Make a Way by Spirit of Praise, 7 and Not Consumed by Chandler Moore. So that's my list for this week.
Awesome, Marsha. I mean, your list is good. It's solid. It's there. It's there. I think mine's a little bit better, but yours is there. I gotta give you your props.
Oh, please. Oh, let me just get some tea in right here.
Oh my gosh.
We know that my list has been like the bomb, but guess what? At the end of the month, the results will tell who is the winner. Awesome stuff. And while we are at it, and thanking those who are watching us, especially on YouTube, because we are live on YouTube today, and also on UMERADIO, we wanna let you know which platforms we can be heard. So if there's someone else that says, "Hey, where can I listen to Marsha and Jesse?" Then you know that we are definitely on iHeartRadio, we are on Amazon Music, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, of course, YouTube, Stitcher, and Instagram. Pretty much all podcast platforms, so you can find us there. Isn't that amazing? We are syndicated. Yes.
That is so amazing. I'm so excited because you could spread all this awesome word to everyone and share it with everyone. You guys can share it too. So it is awesome.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
But Marsha, I am excited for today's show. I am so excited, and everyone got to know what's coming up on today's show. So we're going to start off the morning, like every Saturday morning. We're going to start off with morning worship.
Yeah.
And today's topic is Sipping Tea's devotional Unity, Compliments of Women of God, Moments of Grace. Then we're going to move on to our Aspire to Inspire segment. And we have Mistress Sade Shaw Walker, The Road to Becoming a Nurse. Then we have our Business Street Network. We have a couple guests that are coming on there. And at 8:30, we have our news. We need to know what's going on in New York. We need to know what's going on in the Caribbean. And our hot topic for today is how will education and youth develop and be influenced by the current political climate? And our guest for that is Dr. Laura Elayu.
Awesome. And of course, in our Educate segment, we have Wealth Mindset. We have with us this morning Miss Michelle Thomas, and she is a credit repair specialist. And I know that sounds like good news for somebody listening somewhere, of course. And we're going to tie that in with a little bit of Black wellness. Then we have Jessie with College Life. I don't know what she's going to come with, but I know you are going to come with something totally awesome for those college people out there. And of course, we have our community support with Miss Bathsheba Shaw from Dope Empowerment. So I'm definitely looking forward to having those guests today.
Yes. And last but not least, we have our motivation segment. We got to get you guys motivated. So at 10 a.m., we have Miss Chandra Stewart, singer and songwriter. And at 10:30, we're talking all about travel. I'm excited for this. Donna Upchurch of North Carolina Global Ministry is going to come on. And last but not least, we have our Rebecca Sherbrand, and they're going to talk about celebrating life one event at a time.
Definitely. And then right after that, you keep on listening to UMERADIO.com because the rest of the weekend is going to be totally awesome. But of course, we have our disclaimer that we do before every single show, and that's very important to us here at UMERADIO and on weekends. The views and opinions included in this program belong to their author or their speaker and do not necessarily mirror the views and opinions of UMERADIO or its employees. right? Our employees are obliged not to make any defamatory clauses, infringe or authorize infringement of any legal right. And now we go straight into our morning worship. So this morning, we are going to be looking at the word unity. Like every Saturday, we get into a cup of tea. What's in your teacup this morning? This morning, I am having some chocolate tea, and it feels absolutely like Christmas every time I have chocolate tea. But today for our devotional, we are going to be looking at unity, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're going to go straight into unity. So the definition of unity is a state of being in one accord, in agreement, or harmony. The state of being in one accord, in agreement, or in harmony. Unity. So the year was 1993. As the winter snows melted in the northern states, the Mississippi River began to overflow its banks. Television news showed raging waters knocking house after house off its foundation. Images of desperate people and drowning livestock swept the tragedy into everyone's living room day after day. Further downstream, the muddy waters also threatened our little town. Our beautiful, stately, historic church building stood looking down at the rushing water rising rapidly towards her steps. Saving the building would require unified action. There was definitely no time to lose. Air Force Reserve troops delivered sand and sandbags and began to help fill them. Members of our church, family, and the community at large worked feverishly day and night. Our goal, protecting the landmark from devastation, created laser-sharp unity. We all stood shoulder to shoulder and worked as one. Some shoveled sand and filled bags. Others held bags open, some tied bags. Others passed them along and handed them to the wall builders. Some manned the pumps that shot the dirty water back into the river and away from the church. Meanwhile, teams of volunteers coordinated meals, they offered first aid, and monitored conditions in the building. There was no whining, there was no complaining, no fussing, no arguing, and most importantly, there was no quitting. Everyone felt exhausted though, but we served in one accord, defending our place of worship in an awesome show of unity. Our efforts were successful. Our church building was saved. Working together has never been easy. Sinners all. God's people often fail to show love in our relationships. We violate the spirit of unity that Jesus prayed about in St. John 17. How easy it would be for him to give up on us. How easy for him to walk away, abandoning us to the flood waters of our own well-deserved destruction. But amazingly, it's not so. Jesus' love for us never ends. The love led him to Calvary, where he sacrificed himself so our selfishness could be forgiven. Now, free from all guilt, we can stand together as we pass the love of Jesus on to others, enduring hardships and encouraging one another in the love of Christ that works in us. And today's text comes to us from Romans 15 and verse 5. Now the God of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded, one toward another, according to Jesus Christ. Amen. Let us pray. Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for being alive and 6 feet on top of our graves. We thank you for another opportunity to be breathing. Our lungs are working, oh God. Our limbs are working. We're clothed in our right mind. For some of us, we have food to eat. And even if it's not food, at least some water to drink. We are grateful for all the many blessings that you have poured out upon us. We thank you for the spirit of unity that you desire us to have. Help us to embrace it. Help us to draw nearer to you and to understand the power of it. As we get into our show today, I pray that you will bless every single aspect of it. Touch every single guest. Touch myself and Jesse and DJ Kelly and all the others that helped to make this production possible. As we open this segment today, God, we give it to you and we ask you to have your own way in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. And that is our devotional for today. What a wonderful thing, though, just to be unified, Jesse. Unity is such a powerful tool.
Yes, it is a powerful tool. And I feel like this pandemic, I guess I don't want to say pros, but one of the things that came out of it is that people are starting to realize that we have to stick together.
Yes,
and
we have to.
Are one human race. So if that was a good thing that came out of it, then
yeah, there's a saying too that no man is an island and no man stands alone. So whether it's in your faith, whether if it's secularly in business or any other, a sphere of life, you need somebody.
Yeah.
So I would say be open to whoever God provides in your space that will help you to get to where it is that you need to go.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was a beautiful devotional.
That's true. I
yes, Jesse. It. And now we are definitely going
weekend on UMERADIO, the UMERADIO app.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Oh, yes, girl. Get your cup of tea and mic check, 1, 2. I am so ready.
To inspire, motivate, and educate. Weekends on UMERADIO. The sun is up and so are we.
News, interviews, hot topics. Connect with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Follow, comment, subscribe.
We're everywhere. UMERADIO app, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and all other digital platforms. Email us info@umeradio.com. On WhatsApp, 201-503-6731. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UMERADIO. Follow me, Jesse, on Instagram at ink.jess. That's ink.jess. And on Facebook at Jesselyn Abel. That's JESSELYNE Abel. ABEL.
And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J. Or you can check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UMERADIO with Marsha J and Jesse.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UMERADIO. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
All right, guys. So we're going to open up today with our Aspire segment. And we have guest nurse Mistress Sade Shaw on here for us. How are you, Miss Sade? How are you? Are you here today? Hi, Ms. Walker. How are you?
I'm fine.
That's good. My name is Jessie. I want to say thank you so much for coming on our show this morning. I hope you have a great time. I'm excited to talk to you and know all about your story.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So for people who have never met you before, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a registered nurse. I graduated in 2019. I started the program in 2013, but because of hardship, I had to do 2 extra years. I have 1 child, and as you know, I'm married, and I go to the United Lifeline Church of God.
Awesome. So I know that you have an awesome journey to becoming who you are today. So we're going to take it back a bit and we're going to start your story. Can you tell us about your parents' separation and at what age was that and how that affected you?
Okay, so my mom went away. I think it was age 8. She went overseas, and she was basically traveling to and from Jamaica and New York. She was like my best friend, and she is still my best friend. Basically, it had affected me because I we had a great relationship, and for certain things that I did not want to talk about over the phone, right? I had no one else to speak to because it was like my best friend is not here. She's not here anymore. So basically the most part of my life that it had affected is like my self-esteem. I grew to have like a low self-esteem, not really believing in my dreams. Right.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
And how was your relationship with your dad while your mom was overseas?
Well, at first it was great. I'm going to be honest. It was great because he understand and he knew how such a great impact it had caused negatively on my life. But growing into a teenager, I give trouble and all of that. And he is like that person where he is more stricter than my mommy. So we did not connect as much as how we should have. Right. So the relationship was on and off. Just to be honest, it was on and off.
Oh, that's okay. I understand that. And how would you classify through this journey your darker periods? Or can you classify your darker periods?
My darker periods throughout this journey was like when we almost became homeless. That was when I was actually a single parent, and I had to be moving from home to home, asking persons to actually allow me to stay with them. And as I said, I was a single parent. So being a single parent, going to university, I got helped, right, from the Jarrett's family sometimes. I got help from my mommy's friend, who is my pastor now, and they could not have helped at that time as much as how they wanted to. So basically, strangers had to be helping, and I had more help, to be honest, from other persons rather than family. So those were my darkest period, especially with regarding food for my daughter. It was really a tough journey. I remembered one time I did not really have as much food. And I had to, I don't know if you do it over there, but we had to be mixing sugar and water because that was the only thing I could afford at the time, just to keep our energy up.
Wow. And how did you go through from that transition to now where you are today, being a nurse and married and, having your kids? Like, how's that journey like? How's that transition like?
I'm still in a denial state at this point, to be honest. And I think the transition was not bad. It was good because I had eventually I had received a lot of support, right? In the last, I had received a lot. Maybe they did not support me financially or with material things, but they had supported me with encouragement. Said, you can do it, you can do it. And when I had actually finished school, I finished with honor on the honor rolls, right? And it was surprising because they were saying I went through depression, I had to be on medication and all of that. And they were saying, how you do it? I remembered in an internship when I was actually finishing up and everything. this nurse that basically had left nursing school about 2 years before me. She saw me on the ward and she was like, about 15 years you're supposed to leave school, like why you still in a school? And it was like an outburst on the ward, like everybody was staring at me, and it was one of the most embarrassing period of my life. But I had used that embarrassing time to embrace the spotlight because I'm like a reserved person. So I ended up to embrace the spotlight, and I was like, yay, me. I posted my pictures on all social media and all of that. And the transition is more better. I know in terms of marriage, right? My husband had, we started dating while I was in nursing school. He was actually going to art school. So it was hard for both of us. You know, as a man dating a girl, you would want to take up certain responsibility. At first, persons were like, you're young and I take up like woman with a child, a woman with a child, like really? So he got a lot of negative feedback from his friend, from his family. So we went through a tough period. It's like God was preparing us for such a time as this. Now we are able to appreciate, even though, yes, I am a registered nurse and I'm expecting my pay to raise, right? It doesn't change who I am. I still continue to remain humble. We have respect for each other, you know, and we are now in a period of trying to budget properly, trying to save, trying to make my daughter life even better, trying to think about the future for her. For instance, if anything should happen to me, God forbid, she won't go through some of the things that are the struggle that I went through. So my main transition period right now.
Awesome. And I have one last quick question because I know you have to go soon. One last question is, can you say at least one or two lessons from your story that our listeners can take that may help them?
Never give up. And once you're doing something that you know is something that you really want, it is your purpose, it is your goal in life, never give up. Regardless, you're not doing it for cheers, you're not doing it for the crowd, you're not doing it for anyone to cheer you on. You're doing it because you know what you will gain in the end, right? Regardless of what you go through or went through or is going through, if God puts you in it, he will finish it, right? And if you start something and God allowed you to start it, no matter the circumstances, he will do it. Right? And sometimes I always say, ride out your storm. Yes, definitely. I've been through storm, not even storm, hurricane, right? And despite not having my mother there physically, God had gave honestly, I think my pastor is basically an angel, right? And he placed persons in a specific season in your life. Maybe it's not for a long period, but he knows the time that he wants, that you need someone. And I realize that he always places persons in your life when you really need them, right? And even if it's for a short season, appreciate life. Regardless, other persons are going through worse than you are, right? Never give up. Stay on track. Never give up. The battle is not yours, but God.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle Walker. I am inspired by your story. I hope our listeners are. And the message at the end was just really, really powerful. I loved it. But sadly, we have to go. But I want to say a big thank you for coming on our show today. I loved it. And I hope that you are a regular guest because we need to talk to you more.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome.
God bless you all. Bye.
Bye, Shade. Thanks for coming.
Bye. Thank you, Marsha.
Wow, what an awesome interview. I love to I love it when people embrace their own stories and then we can all take inspiration from it. That's very important, to be mindful of the process that we have to go through to get to where it is that really God designed us to be, so we can be an inspiration to others, you know? And so I find that her story was awesome. What did you think about her story?
I loved it. I mean, to know that someone went through a struggle, and I know when your mom is your best friend and you don't have that rock that was there, you know, or whoever is your best friend in life, you don't have that rock is there, and that rock is far away, you are off balance. You don't feel like you're yourself, or you have that foundation there. And you go through a period of loss and insecurity, like Ms. Walker said. So I'm glad that she said that, and I'm really glad that she was able to turn her life around. You know, a complete 180 degree change. And it may have taken time, but she did that. Awesome.
Yeah, she didn't even, I mean, just sitting with her in the green room, she didn't even get time to share all of her story, because during the interim when her dad put her out because she got pregnant, her brother died, her other brother came down with a mental issue. She was homeless at one point. So, you know, just a lot of things. And to see a young person rise, you know, where now they're married, you know, the money is coming in and they're just glowing and happy. That's awesome.
Awesome. And you see it from her face too.
Yes, so genuine. And with that being said, we have with us this morning Mr. Kirkland Tolo, who is a part of Business Tree under the name Stewie Keys Production. I know he's in the room. He's about to unmute his mic. Good morning, Kirk. How are you?
Good morning. I'm here. Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm not bad. And you?
I am fantastic. Thanks for asking. Thank you so much for being with us here this morning on Weekends with Marsha J and Jesse. Yes. Such a pleasure to have you.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So today we're going to be talking about who you are and what it is that you do. You are a musician by profession. Yes. I want to know from you, how did you get started in music?
You know, I'm a church boy, and I was playing at church one day, and then a man by the name of Andre Campbell saw me playing, and he was like, "Hey, you like music?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." And then he take me up, and you know, he started teaching me stuff, and then from there I started practicing every day until I can help myself, until I start working with Andre. So I start playing around, start working on a cruise ship, working in hotels, playing for gospel artists and all these things.
That's awesome. Who are your musical influences?
Andre Campbell and Dennis Rushton, Oscar Peterson, and many more. There's a lot. There are so many.
Really? And they, I know you're from Jamaica, so are they just local influences or you have international influences?
Both local and international.
That is wonderful. Yes. I have heard some of your work and you do play extremely skillful, might I add. Did you ever go to music school?
No, I've never been to music school.
Hold on. So you are natural talent. You're raw talent.
Yes.
Wow, that is something to aspire to. Who are some of the artists that you have supported over time?
Supported yourself, Marsha J, and Sebastian Graham, Joel Flemings, Sandra Brooks, Agent Sasko, and many more.
And these are some top gospel and secular names.
Okay, yes.
So how did that feel?
You know, it actually feels great. It's great, you know, to know that I'm where I'm coming from and I'm able to provide my talent to these people, you know?
Yes. I know that you started off doing it as a hobby, then it became your passion. So you started doing it as a job, and now you are transitioning again under Business Tree.
Yes.
Doing it as a business. What is that like for you, transitioning from somebody who did it as a hobby, now doing it as a business?
Well, it's new. it's new and it's coming on, and I'm getting to know more stuff, you know. So, you know, we have to do some changes in life. You know, we have the COVID here, so we have to learn to do more than one thing so we can survive.
That's awesome. So what makes you different from any other, what about Kirk that makes Kirk different from any other keyboardist that anybody else will work with?
I'm honest. I'm a child of God. And whatever I do, I try to do my best. And I think that makes a big difference.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. All right.
Yes.
So where do we go? Where do you go from here in terms of your career? Do you see yourself when it's a business, you know, because business is such a wide thing. And I know that you are a person of faith. And so when you think about being a person of faith and having a business, sometimes there is the temptation to separate the two, right? But really and truly, your gift is what makes room for you, right? So what other plans, when you sit down and you think about Stewie Key's music production, where else do you see yourself going? Do you see yourself teaching music? Do you only do church music? What's the genres that you cover?
Well, I see myself, I used to teach some kids, and, you know, I see myself producing movie tracks and doing vocals with other people, and, you know, do a lot of stuff. Try to be all rounded, not just to stay here, but also like to produce stuff so I can, you know, early retirement, so, you know, things can be going. You know, like Bob Marley, he's dead now, but his music is still going on. So I would like to have something like that, you know. So when I do something, the music can continue.
That's awesome. We have a listener question. Someone is writing in to ask you a question, Kirk. It says,
Sure.
many churches feel like musicians should not be paid.
Yes.
What is your take on that?
Well, my take on that, that's a good question. I think musicians should be paid, especially if music is what you do for a living. Because remember, you have to put food on the table. For example, you can't go to, because some churches come to you and say, the Lord bless you, which is good. But at the end of the day, you can't go to JPS or the Water Commission bill, you know,
Hold on, back up. Remember, you know, we're stationed in New York, so they don't know what JPS
New York.
is.
Oh, yes. Let's say you have a phone
Just
bill,
break that down, yes.
like AT&T. You can't go to AT&T and say to AT&T, God bless you because I can't pay my bill today, you know? You have to understand that we do this for a living, so we need money to pay our bills and help our family so that we can survive. So I think we should get a stipend.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
Thank you so much for that, Kirk.
Yes.
We have another listener question, and I want to ask this question in alignment with some of the things we discussed in the green room before we came live on air. I know that you were expressing at some point that growing up, a lot of persons didn't believe in you, believe in who you are and what you would become as a person. So the question is, who is Kirkland and what is his victory story?
All right. You know, when I was young, they used to push me away, like push me around in music, like, you know, if I should go on the instrument, they push me down and say, no. And I'm like, okay. But I didn't stop fighting, you know, I push. I practice. Even one day when I was in church, the pastor would come and say, hey, off the instrument, you know? And I was like, oh, that was embarrassed.
Why
but, you
would
know,
he say that though? I mean,
you know, we were young and you were going up there trying to learn, you know, that push.
You have a phase that you're learning, so it's not as excellent as they would like.
Yes. And every time I go there, they tell me to leave the instrument. And, you know, I didn't stop. And that's when Andre Campbell came in and he pushed me and he said, you know what? Here is a little keyboard. Go and practice at home. And since that day, I never stopped until now. So I'm saying to people that they should never give up. Don't give up. Always push.
Always push. That is great advice, especially for somebody who is creative and in the field of the arts. I know that for some parents, they may not, especially for Caribbean parents, they may not too readily believe that the arts is something that a child should do. Maybe they think like they should be be like a doctor or work at the bank or things like that. What would you say to parents who have children and the child's skill set is manifesting that they would be really great at something that they do well with their hands?
Well, I would say invest, because trust me. For example, I have a friend his name is Kenyon Delissa. His mom didn't want him to go to music school, but he has a talent. And trust me, right now, I sit and talk with his mom, and his mom was like, no, he's not going to music school because music cannot pay him. Music cannot do nothing for him. And I was like, hey, give him a try, invest, send him to music school. And, she gave him a try, because what I used to do, I used to bring him on stage with me and, show him every little thing I know. And
so you started mentoring to Kirk? Wow.
Yes. And then when I bring him on stage, everybody start liking him, and they start calling and asking him to work with him and stuff. And then they send him to the Edna Malley School of Music. And that's where he go. And he's now graduated and he has a degree. He's now playing for Buju Banton.
Wow.
And he's playing for a lot of artists right now, but his main artist is Buju Banton. And he's also doing producing. So right now,
awesome.
Yeah, so I think you should invest.
Power of Stewie Keys production. You empower people. That's awesome,
yes.
Kirk. We have another listener question for you because I know that the time is going.
Yes.
Let me see. All right, so before we go to the question, let me go to a comment. It says musicians tend to invest in instruments. Is there need for them to invest in their brand themselves as a professional?
Yes, you should invest in your brand. If you don't invest in your brand, how are you going to be out there? How are people going to know you? You have to promote your brand so that people can, know you.
Awesome. Somebody said, wow, Buju Banton. All right, so I have one more question for you, Kirk.
Yes.
How can music better position persons so that their business or their brand would become visible and valued by others? How can musicians position themselves so that their brand become more visible and valued by other people?
Well, a lot of ways you can do that. First of all, business tree is one of them. You can use business tree, and business tree can take you all over the world. It's not just home, it's international. What you can do is make your tracks, promote yourself, upload them online, even social media. You can do that. Trust me. It's as simple as putting a video on social media. If you put up a video and let's say you get 3 likes, yes, don't stop. Continue. One day someone will see it and share it until you start to go out there, and then the video is gonna spread. So I think social media and business tree is a good way to start.
Well, Kirk, thank you so much for all that great advice, and definitely we look forward to hearing greater things from you. Being a young person, you are married and you have the flexibility, and that's one of the things I love about you, Kirk. You have the flexibility and the gifting that you have. It's not just local where, okay, you can play in a church, but I know that before the whole pandemic, you were on the cruise ships and you were making money. Let's just be real, and I mean, you have not yet gone to music school, but there has been blessings that have been coming your way just because you share your gift with the world. Thank you so much, Kirk, for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And we look forward to having you again for an update to see how Business Tree is impacting your brand, your business. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. And you too, and all the listeners. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, blessings. Yes, man. All right, bye.
This segment is a segment that I absolutely love. I don't even know where Jesse is at this time, but this is a segment that I absolutely love because we get to share and to learn more about the different brands that we collaborate with and how we can empower. We invite others to come along. Empower yourself. Be a part of one of the brands that we collaborate with. And every week we feature a brand new brand. Right, Jesse?
Yes, it's one of my favorite segments, just to have all these other businesses and learning so much. I learned so much from this segment that I'm taking notes at the same time. Yeah.
Every week. All right. What is wealth mindset? So wealth mindset is a set of beliefs, habits, and behaviors. Jesse, please don't go anywhere. That separates the wealthy from the rest. A wealth mindset will guide you to make the most of the money that you have. And mindset is extremely important. Who do we have today, Jesse?
We have Mistress Michelle Thomas. She's going to talk about credit repair. She's an author, CEO of Amethyst Credit Repair, founder of Mocha Princess AZ Inc. Michelle is also an entrepreneur that specializes in mentorship and attraction marketing to further your business goals.
Awesome stuff. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning. I love the show. This is awesome. So thank you for having me. Yes, this is so nice. So yes, I am Michelle Thomas, and I am the owner and founder of Amethyst Credit Repair. So I specialize in basically deleting negative items off your credit report and helping you better manage your finances, on top of just educating you, period, on why it's important to have a decent credit score. And also I do attraction marketing. So I have one Facebook page for Amethyst Credit Repair, and then the other one is for my attraction marketing. And so they kind of go together, because if you're able to brand yourself properly and market the way that you should, then the leads and the customers will come. So it goes hand in hand. So it's amazing.
Awesome. Hold on. Tell us about, I know we're going to talk about credit repair, but for those who don't understand what is it, attraction marketing?
Okay.
What that is. Tell us about that first.
So attraction marketing is when you do a lot of engagement on Facebook. So my particular thing that I've got into is particularly Facebook and engaging online through the algorithm. So, Facebook is real picky and finicky about what they want to put on their timeline, who they want to show your post to, and you think, oh, no one's seeing my post, and I'm not getting the support that I need. So with that, what we do is we post. They are called curiosity posts. So it's 2 times a week. We post an offer, and then we say comment below if you want more information. And then we do lifestyle posts where we show, a little bit about who we are, what we're doing, just everyday life. Sometimes I post my kids, sometimes I post when I go out, but just having fun to try and engage with your audience. So it's really, they're attracted to you, not necessarily your brand. So you don't put your products out there and say, hey, buy this from me. Or I have this deal and it's $20 and here's your product. A lot of times that turns people off, but they'll really, once they get to know you, they'll be like, okay, well, what are you offering? And then they'll be in your inbox and be like, hey, I saw you posted this. You don't necessarily say exactly what you're doing.
Working
but
smart.
but you're attracting them to you. And it's like, oh, I can't wait to see what else she posts. And then I'll post something else. It's like, okay, well, tell me what you're doing now, So it's a roundabout way instead of just throwing the offer to you, Nice. So it's a different form of marketing. I just got into it with an amazing group. They're very supportive, and we support each other's posts. And we also have webinars, trainings about how to properly position yourself. And then now I started my YouTube channel. So I'm gonna push everything over there to try and get more people on board. But it's a different way of thinking. Before, when I had my nonprofit, I would just throw my nonprofit out there, ask for donations. And if people didn't support it, like, well, we necessarily don't really support, the nonprofit, but what are you doing? And that's all I had was just pushing my product, but not necessarily branding myself. So I learned that I have to brand myself first, and then people will come.
Nice. So let's shift gears and go back to credit repair. Okay. Let's start with the basics. Oh, we have a listener question. Before we go to that, let me just get to that question. How key is self-branding to earning? That's a listener question.
So it is very key. No matter what you are selling, promoting, if the person likes you, they will follow you. So one day you may be promoting credit repair, and then they'll have a friend that maybe they necessarily don't need credit repair, but they know a credit repair, specialist. So they refer them to you, but then they may be interested in your marketing, or you may sell t-shirts, for example. They may like that t-shirt. So it's, you brand yourself. And if they like you, they will come. So that's how you earn, is your own brand. So self-branding is extremely important. It's not really about the product anymore.
That's powerful. And that's definitely a game changer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I want to know about the whole credit part of this, because I know a lot of people are struggling with this COVID-19. A lot of people are just pushing their credit out because they don't really have that much money coming in. So, and because of that, they're not able to pay off their credit card in time, or even minimum payments. So you tell us like that basics of how to incorporate credit in our lives, what to do, what not to do.
So the main thing is that a lot of collection agencies, they will, especially now, a lot of people are getting collection letters, unfortunately. So I'll focus on that for a moment. When you get a letter in the mail, the most important thing is do not just automatically pay it. You don't assume that the debt is yours. Anything on the credit report, especially there's a lot of errors on there, you can dispute it. And the best way to dispute it is by sending a letter and telling them to validate the debt. So I know that it's intimidating. They'll say you have so many days, or they'll file a lawsuit against you. Write a letter back and ask them to validate the debt. And then according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they do have to provide you with documentation on how that debt is valid. And if they don't, then that account needs to be deleted. So don't ignore the letters, because then it'll go to a judgment, but simply write a letter back and just say, hey, I don't recognize this debt. It's invalid. Can you tell me exactly where it came from? Or this is invalid, the dates don't add up, especially when you pull your credit report. Sometimes TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, they're all reporting different dates, different amounts. So you find those discrepancies and you say, okay, well, this particular credit report has this versus this one has this date of last activity.
Right.
It needs to be all the same. And if it's not the same, ask for that account to be deleted. So definitely don't just right off the bat pay it. And I know it's intimidating, especially when you get them in the mail, and it's heart-wrenching because it's your credit. And then before you know it, your score goes down like 40 points. And it's like, I don't have any money. What am I supposed to do? But always, always send a letter off and ask them to validate it. That will give you time. See if they can delete it off your credit report.
Okay.
And then I have one quick question, Marsha, with that. Kind of a follow-up. You mentioned it, Michelle. So when people have debt and they want to get rid of it, can you tell us some of the best ways to get rid of it? I know about the avalanche and with the
Jesse, before you even ask that question, I think the question I have, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, right? Okay. Before we get into that aspect of it, could you define what is credit and what is a credit report? Just 101 stuff.
So your credit is, your credit is basically what you can get. Credit card, car loans, things of that nature. The higher the score, the lower your interest rate. So with your credit report, you'll receive it from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. They each will provide you with the score, and your score is broken down from your payment history down to how long you've had credit, your history. There's certain percentages of how it's broken down. So the higher your score, which is over a 720 or so, the lower your interest rate is and you're less of a risk. So you'll pretty much get whatever you apply for. Now, the more horrible your score is, unfortunately, it'll be very hard for you to get credit. And if you do, then you'll have a really high interest rate. And so, or sometimes you'll get denied. So credit is very important. It's to me, it's more important than money. You can get a lot more in credit. Like say if you wanted to buy a house or a vehicle, anything like that, your credit is king. So pretty much you can get whatever you need if you have a decent credit score. And I went from basically a 400 credit score up to a 670 to a 700 in a matter of a year and a half from working on my credit, intentionally working on it. So paying off debts, focusing on one card at a time, paying the minimum on the others, validating collections that I didn't even know that process was legit. I just got into credit repair at that moment and I was like, wow, I didn't have to pay that. I didn't have to pay this account either. And it was deleted off my credit report. So just prioritizing. So I know right now with COVID, focus on one account, do what you can do for that one, pay the minimum, you know, if you can on the others, and just knock them out that way. You know, it's hard. You just have to prioritize and the little things that we pay for. So even if it's, you know, cable or things of that nature, maybe you have to shift those funds, turn cable off or something like that, pay a debt down, and then, you know, you'll get it back. It'll be there. It'll be there. I know it's difficult, but prioritizing definitely helps.
Okay. I have a question. And I just want to make sure that the listeners that are listening, because you said quite a bit that I think is absolutely valid, but you define what credit is, what a credit score is, what a high and low credit score is, how dangerous that can be, or advantageous depending on the numbers.
Yeah.
Where can someone go to get information on how to credit, how to understand more about credit?
So on my page, I offer, so if you go to my Facebook page on Amethyst Credit Repair, I have a free do-it-yourself 7-day credit repair challenge. So once you enter your name and email out there, every day you'll get information regarding how you can improve your credit score. Mm-hmm. And so I offer that to everyone for free. You could go on there, put in your email address, and every day I'll send you an update and say, hey, this is what the Fair Credit Reporting Act does. And this is how your credit score is broken down. And if you wanted to dispute an account, this is how you do it. And so if you need assistance, there's also an option where you could book an appointment and schedule with me as well. And then I can help you and we can have a free consultation. And then I provide you with the credit analysis. I'll send you a PDF and it'll have your credit score broken down for you. And it'll tell you which accounts are negative, how many inquiries you have, how many accounts are positive, and just set out a plan. And if you need my assistance, and we could talk about the different packages, but that's later. But as far as, you know, just needing assistance, because I do want to help everyone. I have a lot of mothers. I was a single mother myself, so I help a lot of mothers try and get their credit back on track. And we start with the 7-day do-it-yourself credit challenge. Okay. And it provides a lot of information.
That's awesome. All right, I still want to slow it down a little bit more. I want you to define a credit report for those who haven't, because we have an international audience. We're in.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the questions are coming in. What is a credit report?
Okay. So a credit report is attached to your social security number. Mm-hmm. So when you go to, say, annualcreditreport.com, as an example, I know they provide free credit reports. They will give you your breakdown of what positive accounts you have, negative. So it's everything that you've applied for with your name, date of birth, social security number, address, employer information. Say you go and apply for a visa at, say, Chase Bank or whatever bank. Mm-hmm. They pull your credit to see if it's valid. That's your credit report. So depending on that.
So let me interject here. So your credit has to do with you being accountable with how you spend money.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right. So every company that you engage in, they would have had a history for you.
Yes.
Right.
Some
And
of
that makes
them,
up your credit report.
yes. And some of them report to all the credit bureaus. Some companies may only report to one. So when you do pull your credit report, you may see that your car loan only reported to one of the credit bureaus out of 3 or 2 out of 3. So it's basically a history of how well you've paid your bills. So if they go 30 days past due, you'll get a mark on your credit stating that you got, it was past due this month. If you let it go 60 days, then you'll have 2 months past due. So it'll go up from there until the account is charged off. And basically a charge off is when the creditor decides, I'm going to just write it off on my taxes. This person's never going to pay me. And then your credit report really takes a dip because they just wrote you off at that point. So, wow. But if you're late a couple of days, like say you didn't hit 30 days yet, and say you just forgot and it's been a week, it won't report to your credit. You'll get a late fee with that creditor, but you still have time to pay it. And you can call and be like, hey, I just forgot. Can you just credit me back the late fee as a courtesy? They'll never report it to your credit report, which is good. Okay. And most of the time they're calling you in advance anyway and asking you, like, hey, we see you forgot your payment. Just, make a payment if you can or make an arrangement. But it's when it hits 30 days. Okay. Then it becomes an issue on the credit report. So it's just history with the creditors.
Okay.
Gotcha. So now I know, at least for our American audience, they may understand credit or they may have credit, but I know a lot of people, depending on where they are in the country, in the world, they may not have a credit, but they can accrue debt. Can you explain what in general terms is debt and how can they manage their debt?
Yeah, so debt is pretty much money that you owe other businesses. So it could be banks or, auto loans, even furniture, payday loans, things of that nature, whatever's in that particular country, it's money that's owed to someone else. And if the best way to manage it is, I like to take care of the smaller accounts first. So if you have a balance that's $200 versus $2,000, try and get the $200 one out the way and then focus on the $2,000, especially if you're working with the minimum amount of money, just pay towards the $200 first. The $2,000, it'll be there. So once you get that one knocked out, just go to the next one. Just focus on one account at a time and then pay the minimum if you can on the rest of them, but just one at a time. That's how I like to focus on it, because it gets hard, especially when the accounts get out of control.
That's true.
I know a lot of people have loans, like you said, like car loans or student loans or mortgage. How does that affect a person's life if they don't have that under control?
So it will, like, say if they go past you, it'll lower your credit score. So the next time, like, I know, I'll use myself, for example. I was in a relationship and I ended up walking away from the house that I was in with my fiance. I left when I was pregnant. It was a horrible situation. So I thought that he was going to rent out the house. Well, he decided to move. House is vacant. I'm not living there. He's not there. So the banks, they kept calling me like, hey, we're about to foreclose on this house, meaning that you're about to take a hit on your credit and we're going to close. We're about to close this loan, which is horrible. I ended up filing bankruptcy to wipe my credit clean. So when you don't take care of your debt, that house got so far in and I owed on it $255,000. We were only there for less than a year. I had to rebuild myself. I could not get an auto loan. I couldn't get another home. I eventually had to get a cosigner to get an apartment. I was really at rock bottom with the newborn baby.
Wow.
Literally. So my credit went from, I was working at a bank at the time. I got my loan for my house through that particular bank. When I had great credit, it was amazing. And then I immediately felt, once I filed bankruptcy and once I couldn't even get an apartment, I went from being able to qualify for a house to not being able to get an apartment, to not being able to pay for another vehicle, not even finance a car, that fast. So if things spiral out of control, then you find that you can't get qualified for anything, and it makes it extremely hard. Especially nowadays, it makes it impossible to, to try and elevate yourself, to try and buy a home or, buy another vehicle, whatever you need.
Interesting. You said, you mentioned an experience, and I don't think that experience is unique to you. Would you tell us about that walk of, going through a low credit score and then building it again?
Yeah. So, it was my first time even filing bankruptcy, and I did it like just without even thinking about it, because I was like, I need to get this house up under me, because I didn't want to get sued by the bank. I knew that was probably coming, especially with that large of debt. So I filed bankruptcy really quickly, went through the process, and didn't really think about the aftermath of, wow, how is this going to affect my credit? So when I did it, my credit score immediately went down. And after that, I found that when I tried to buy another house, it's like, oh, you have to wait 4 years. You have to wait X amount of time. Or right when you pull up an application for most creditors, it'll ask you, have you filed bankruptcy within 7 years? Once you answer yes, you're denied. Or once I saw that question, it's kind of like applying for a job and it's like, are you a felon? So it's like, yeah, that's the same thing with some of these creditors. They ask you, have you filed bankruptcy? It's like, let me just close out of this application because I know I'm going to get denied. So what I had to do is take out secured credit cards to build my credit. And what that is that it's a deposit. So a $300 deposit you give to the bank, they give you a $300 credit line. I had to get credit cards like that. So once I did that and I paid those off, my credit limits would increase. Then my credit score slowly started building. And then once it started building, then I was able to eventually get another car loan. It was a very high interest rate, but that was better than nothing. Yes. So I remember that the car loan, prior to bankruptcy, I was like at, 3%. After bankruptcy, it was like at 15. But I needed something, and that makes a huge difference in your amount that you pay per month. Your payment is just crazy, but I needed something for my daughter and I. So the best way was just building. So getting small credit cards, eventually getting the auto loan. Then I rented my apartment for 2 years. I still took the time to build my credit because at that time I still couldn't get qualified for a home or anything. And so bankruptcy was an immediate fix as far as getting rid of that house, but it hurt me in the long run for years.
So I have listeners' question coming in, Ms. Michelle, and I'm going to try to get to them quickly because we're running out of time. You mentioned something interesting. You said you had to rent out your house. Was that to prove to the bank that you had a consistent flow of income? Like how was that? How did that help your credit repair?
Oh, okay. So I was attempting to rent out my house. Okay. But then when he moved, I couldn't rent it out because I couldn't sustain it. So that's when I filed bankruptcy. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't sustain it.
Trying to save it by renting it out.
Yeah,
so
I was paid. Yeah, I was literally trying to save my credit. I was trying to exhaust all options, but with the newborn baby at the time, I could not try and rent out a home and take care of this house. And then still, I owe the mortgage. So I'm hoping to get more than what the mortgage is worth, or at least break even so I could pay the bank. I was like, this isn't working.
Okay. All right, so we can go through some questions, Jess.
Yeah, so based off of that, 'cause that's a really powerful story.
Yeah.
Should people try to avoid having debt in the first place? Is that the safest option? And how does one build a credit score that they can leverage?
Okay, so definitely don't avoid debt. We need it unless, you know, you have enough money to buy the things that you need. But like as far as a home and, you know, bigger finances, right? But it's always great to have credit, especially great credit. Excellent credit is better than money. You can get business loans, a lot of business loans. You can get more things in credit rather than paying cash for it, for sure. So you just have to balance it correctly. So definitely don't avoid it. And you can start small. So if you don't have a credit card, just start by a secured credit card. There's a lot of good companies out there, and you never know. If you've never applied for debt, you might be able to just apply for a regular credit card and you'd be surprised. You'll probably be approved. Some people don't even try. And I have some clients where they've never even attempted to get credit, and they're like, oh my gosh, I got approved. It's like they never even thought to do it. And no credit is actually worse than bad credit. At least they'll see that, you know, you've had credit and you've paid on some accounts, but no credit. If you try and avoid it, the banks definitely won't approve you for anything.
Right. So even if you have cash and you pay cash, that's still not a good thing.
No.
Run it through a card.
Yeah, run it through a card and just pay it off. That's great credit history. Run it through a card, let it sit there on the account for about, you know, 2 weeks, pay it off. And then they'll report to the credit bureau that you paid it in full. That's great history.
Awesome. All right. Go ahead, Jesse.
I want to be on time for another listener question. Let's see. One listener said, what is the recommended credit score to be safe? Like, can you explain, like, bad credit score, good, excellent? Like, what's that range?
Okay. So good, excellent is, I believe, over 720. Anything over that, you can pretty much get anything that you want. Walk into any, you know, any auto place or whatever, and you can get whatever car you want. Good or fair is between, like, say 640 to about 720. And then anything under 640 is considered a low or bad credit score. So in 640, that's typically the credit score that you need if you want to qualify for a house. A lot of mortgages are requiring at least a 640. So if you're looking to get a home, 640 and above. The higher the interest rate, the higher the credit score that you have, the lower the interest rate, and it's the lower the payment. So if you have excellent credit, you will get the lowest interest rate, which is good. So if you plan on buying a home, car, make sure your credit score is above a 720. You'll definitely get lower interest rates and a lower payment.
Wow. Here's another question, listener question. And I just wanted to say hello to Shankar from India, who is in studio with us this morning. Hi, and welcome to you. All right, so our listener question is, if I ever get a credit, do I automatically have a high credit score?
No. No. It's based off of a lot of different factors. Once you start paying on it regularly, your credit score will increase, but it's not automatic. I wish it was.
No,
but
right?
Yeah, there's different variables. They base it off of, you know, your age and what people have that kind of debt and your demographic, and, you know, the algorithm is crazy. So no, but once you start building it, and the longer you have that positive account, the higher your credit score will be. Because one of the things to have a great credit score is the longevity of how long you've had your accounts in a positive standing and have not been late on them. So the longer, the better.
how early in terms of age, because you mentioned about demographics and age, should you start building your credit?
So I have a 9 and a 12-year-old, and I have them as an authorized user on my credit card. Just to build their credit. Because like I mentioned, it does take into account how long you've had positive accounts. So by the time they hit 18, they've already had their credit card. Like my son, he'll have it for 9 years. So by that time, I'm hoping that he'll have a score over 700 just going into life, because, at that point, having a great credit score, he'll be set, because I know a lot of us start at 18, like how I did. And then after a few years of going through life, my credit score tanked. It went down so bad just due to bankruptcy and things of that nature. So I'm trying to give them a head start. There's some cards that say that your child needs to be 13 to add them as an authorized user. But the particular card that I have is 9. So my son is 9 years old. So the earlier, the better. Especially if you have children, start them now. If you have a credit card, and if you have great credit history on it, you haven't been late and you haven't been over limit and the balance is not high, because you definitely want to keep it low because you don't want to give them that bad history starting out, then you're definitely giving them a head start. So the earlier, the better.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. And
You're welcome.
Time. Let our listeners know how we can connect with you. If we would like to have our credit repaired, or simply if we just want to know more about credit.
Okay. So my Facebook is Amethyst Credit Repair, and that's AMETHYST. You can go there, or amethystcreditrepair.com. There is a sign up, or you can learn more. You can click on that, send me your information. I'll email you back and we can schedule a consultation if you have any questions. And right on my Amethyst Credit Repair Facebook page is where you can sign up for right there we go. So yeah, if you go to sign up now on the right, once you click on that, then you'll be able to enter your information. And then on my Facebook page is where I have the DIY. There you go. So you can, it says I want to know more or ready to sign up. So either one, it'll come to me and then I can help you.
Okay.
And then on the Facebook, that's where the DIY is. And then you'll be able to sign up for the 7-day credit challenge. And that's the free information that will give you 7 days worth of, just tips and tricks to improve your credit or start your credit or whatever you need to do.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today and for this information.
You're welcome.
I mean, this is, Jesse, don't you think this is basic information?
Yeah, and what I love about it is that they don't teach you this in school.
They don't.
No.
They don't teach it in I don't think anywhere,
No.
Some people
it's like I got a late start.
The world are just like lost and confused.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. And we look forward to having you back, especially in our wealth mindset segment here on UMERADIO. Our purpose is to empower 1 million people.
Nice. Well, thank you. I look forward to coming back. I enjoyed it.
Definitely. And we're so happy to have you today, Ms. Thomas. Yes.
Thank you.
See you next time.
See you. Thank you.
All right. And so that was Michelle Thomas of Amethyst Credit Repair. And we do hope that you learned something this morning about the importance of credit, about the importance of starting your kids early in credit. And so to ensure that you are able to access monies or resources that will help you to build a better life. All right. So at this time, we are going to go straight to our news segment.
All right.
Yes.
It's starting to be a little crazy here. I'll tell you a little bit of New York because there's an update. So there's the update to this whole C-19. They have a whole winter plan. And right now, unfortunately, they expect the virus to continue to spread as the winter gets going. So they have a whole plan laid out. And this is some things that people, at least in New York and the rest of America, should know. So right now, hospitalizations are continuing to be on the rise. Wow. In New York specifically, total hospitalizations rose to 2,982. The positivity rate in the microcluster focus, which I'm assuming is like the little area of like the boroughs in New York, the focus area was to 5.82%. And outside of those areas, it's 3.04%. I don't know if you guys watched, any of your listeners in America, if you guys watched that Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, but that was completely different because you did not have, like, the floats were held by people. So on Thursday, it was just like trailers, like cars just pulling the floats by. They didn't have it like down a main street. It was just like a little like block area kind of thing. It was just filming in one area. And I know they have like a whole bunch of celebrities, and then they just stuck to like 4 or 5 people pretty much, and that was it, singing. And because it's the holidays and because of the C-19, I really want to stress another tip that they said in the New York Times is that mental health is a big impact, not only on this pandemic, but outside of that, the depression rates, suicide rates, all of that is always heightened during the holidays. So you have this going on during the holidays. It's winter time. So please be safe. And if you are a New Yorker listening, there's a reminder that you can call your state's mental health hotline, and their number is 844-863-9314 for free emotional support, consultation, and referrals to a provider to help you. So please, if you guys are struggling out there, please take care of your mental health. It is such a huge thing. And last but not least, because we're in the second roundup of a program called Nourish New York, and they have spent $1.3 million to help New Yorkers in need. So far, 1.8 million pounds of raw milk have been turned into dairy products and distributed to local food banks. In addition, 330,000 pounds of produce. Over 980,000 households have received these products. And unfortunately, not every New Yorker will have security this holiday season. So please, New Yorkers, go out, go to your nearest food banks, your food pantries, and get the resources that are here for you.
Awesome stuff, Jesse. Awesome stuff. And I'm with you on taking care of your health. I was just saying to someone yesterday that it's very important, especially during the holidays. Especially for those of us who are living alone, who may not have as much family, to really pay attention to our mental health, because it's definitely something to talk about. So in the Caribbean, there's a concern as well. So we have the Pan American Health Organization, and this is from the Loop News from the Caribbean angle, that says too many still institutionalized in Latin America and in the Caribbean. So PAHO has advocated for more community-based psychiatric care in the Caribbean. The call was made in a new publication on the deinstitutionalization of psychiatric care. The report presents strategies to transform mental health care in the Caribbean by promoting the treatment of people with mental health conditions within their own communities instead of institutionalized settings. And I know in some Caribbean countries, the institutions are really overrun with persons who have mental issues. And also, for some places, every day you see a new person on the street that has just been overwhelmed with the cares of life. And so going back to what you were saying, Jesse, that's extremely important. Also, what's happening in the Caribbean too is that we've been having consistent rains, different different structures, different storms.
Right, the hurricane season, right?
It's definitely the hurricane season in the Caribbean, and so we have to take extra precaution especially for those who live in low-lying and flood-prone areas, to make sure that we do what it is that we need to do. And of course, the government continues to ensure that there are safe houses and places. And I just want to emphasize that if you live in these vulnerable areas, make use of what's happening. Make use of these areas that help to keep you safe. I know I was watching one particular radio newscast, and the person was saying, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving because if I leave, then somebody may break into my home, take away my stuff. So rather to stay there, and whatever happens, happens. But we definitely have to put ourselves first, because if we're not alive long enough, then definitely are going to be having some issues. And of course, we see in the Caribbean where violence is on the increase because people are desperate. Here's one particular news article as we wrap up the Caribbean news this morning. It says, ex-boyfriend charged with murder in death of Jamaican in Antigua. So police in Antigua and Barbuda have charged 35-year-old man accused of murdering his Jamaican former lover in the capital, St. John's. Sean, a resident of St. John's, was charged with the murder of 45-year-old hairstylist Simone White. According to police reports, shortly before 10 p.m., White was at a building on Tanner Street where she was approached by this young man who attacked her with a knife. What? And so we see where there are various struggles that continue to happen, and for different reasons. We are not clear on the motive at this time, but we do know that, we do want to extend condolences to the family of the loss of this person.
Right, yes.
Living a life is never easy.
It's never easy, especially it's never easy in general, just in life, not to really cliche or a pun in that, but when someone's lost in that way, it's just...
It's sad.
Never right. Yeah. It's sad. It's very, very sad.
Straight up sad. Yeah. But in other news, we want to just talk about a quick hot topic this morning.
Yeah.
And we have a very special guest with us, Reverend Dr. Laura Eliu, right? He has his doctorate. He's a pastor and he has his doctorate in divinity. He's a decorated pioneer in the education field and candidate-elect for the City Council in New York. Good morning, sir. Welcome to our program this morning. Oh, I think he's trying to...
No. Good morning, DJ Marsha. How you doing?
Ah, there you are.
There you are.
How are you?
Fine, thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Yes. And you are inside our Hot Topic segment. So the question, just for our listeners and our viewers this morning, the question for today is, what is the state of the New York State school system at the current moment? So that's something that we want to talk about. How is the education system being impacted by the pandemic?
Well, the education, thank you. That's a great question. Education is being impacted because the people who actually are in education are people who live in the society. So everybody is being impacted. But it is obviously that I think our children who never been exposed into this situation, I believe it's more difficult for them, especially we who have children understand that very well. Because, children naturally, they want to socialize. And if they don't have the opportunity to meet with the other colleagues, with the other students, with the other classmates, it is difficult, even though maybe they do not express that. We parents have to see how can we resolve that situation, because it is hard, not only for us, but for children too. Education at this moment, we are 100% remote. It doesn't mean that we will stay remote because, as you may know also, it's a lot of parents who have to go to work. We have a bunch of people who say, so we want to be 100% remote, but we have also a bunch of people who really want to say, I really want my kids go in person to school. And we as teachers know that nothing is most important than teach in person. This is so important, that what we're doing right now, and thanks God for the technology and the Zoom platform and all the platform. But I think if we are together, it would be even better.
Interaction, yes. Personal touch.
Yeah. And I know that's a really important statement that you said there, because I know I could see how, I don't know, let's say 15 and up could kind of understand the virtualness. They could kind of get by. But when kids are going through like pre-K all the way to like that middle school, that's a lot of social interaction that little kids need to know. You can't learn that from being on the computer, right?
Yeah, and the sudden withdrawal causes stress too.
Yeah. I have a question. In New York, are all the boroughs of New York doing this virtual thing, or is it by school districts?
At this moment, since last week, we went completely remote, all the school, But in New York, before that, we have many teachers who are 60 or more years of age who had the opportunity actually to teach remote, right? But what we have in New York City is that when we have one case in a school, that particular classroom closed automatically and everybody go remote. If we have 2 cases, the whole building is closed. All right. So at this moment, we are 100%. Everybody, no school in person right now. Now, this week, the coming week, the mayor will be talking, because I told you before, the mayor is receiving pressure from a lot of people, parents who say, no, wait a minute, I cannot leave my 10 years old in my house by itself. I need to go to work. Okay, so that's the pressure we have now. But at the same time, as you say, with a percentage rate of almost 6% of the infection, that's not good, right? So, and you also say that life go first. So we had to, we had to deal with that. We had to deal with that. So God willing, so we could have that vaccine soon out on the street, and the majority of the people can use it. And then, we'll be able to be to normal, even though I believe that it's going to take some time to be to normal anyway.
Yeah. How is the education of children impacted by the family's resources, such as like their internet service may not be great, they may only have one laptop in the home? How is that going on?
Well, that's it was a sue from the city council, I think last week, because it's a lot for, especially for those kids who was in home in shelter. Sometimes they don't have enough equipment, and they don't have internet access. So yes, it is a challenge. It is very difficult, and one of my actually project when I become city councilman would be that the internet access for all. So we should have internet. Even this platform, for some reason, I would say the federal government, the city would help those people. Why do we have to pay for this? So yes, it is a challenge. It's been difficult. We have to do our best with what we have, but it is very difficult. Again, nothing can replace education, teaching and learning in person. I don't think nothing. It's good to take class by internet. Always is good, right? But that is not the way to go. It shouldn't be the way to go. You cannot replace a teacher, right? When you got the opportunity to ask questions, to interact, to go to the blackboard and answer questions. I mean, action is better than speaking, right? So here we can speak only, but when you go to class, you could do a lot of things. And I could tell you, as 27-year educator that I am, that when you had the opportunity to interact with your children there, say how you're doing, how you feel. I mean, this is unbelievable. You get result when you got that opportunity. Yes.
Okay. I want to ask, how is everyone adjusting? Because we know there has to be no face-to-face classes now, but where I am, there is a great concern, not just for the students, but for the mental health of the teachers. Like, how, based on your interaction with these groups and schools, how are they adjusting? School boards, things like that.
Well, the same way you're doing right now, this is what we're doing. The community board, I mean, the what we call the school leadership team, the district leadership team, the school, they meet the same way we're meeting right now, right? So we're using the Zoom platform, and we bring the whatever issue that we may have. Even if we have some type of disciplinary, we're using this platform. Whatever we use, even investigation, they're using the Zoom. So I mean, we had no other choice, right? So we got to do it, but at the same time, we had that emptiness there. We had that space empty that we need to go in person. Okay, this is no good, but we had to do it.
Yes.
Because otherwise, then how we gonna survive, right? So we gotta do it. It's not easy, but we gotta do it.
Yes. Do you think they find it difficult? I'm not sure if the applications that are currently being used, the apps that are being used to teach, is it that they were aware of these apps before, or now they have to now be preparing lesson plans, learning new apps, teaching themselves, or there is a system in place for that? And the same thing for the kids. What is it like?
Well, I tell you something. Before this pandemic started, we gotta say it. So nobody, or the majority of us, didn't know nothing about it. I don't even know what it was. Okay, so if we had to appreciate the virus, is thank you, because now we know a lot about this, right? So yes, so we didn't know nothing about this, but because we are human beings, God gave us the opportunity actually to rationalize and thinking. So actually, we've been doing better every day, and the beauty of this is that we can also support and help other people. You see, for example, my daughter is a teacher, right? And she's a young teacher, 24 years old. So she had the opportunity to help me and help other people. All right. So this is great in that matter, that we had the opportunity to learn every day, because teachers, as a teacher always have to learn. We always have to learn. This continuously educating ourselves, right? But the children also, I'm pretty sure they never use those things. So now they can use it, right? So yes, it's been a challenge situation, but we've been doing it.
Okay. And this is through self-teaching or through training programs?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, both. Yes. Yes.
Awesome. I want to turn our attention to the current political climate, because I know that you are candidate-elect for City Council. Congratulations. And thank you for adding all you do to enhancing the city where you are, right? The question is, what are some of the current issues that New Yorkers are facing now? And what preparation is there for adjustments in changes?
Yes, the main crisis that we're having at this moment, it is obviously the health situation that we're dealing with, right?
Yes.
That's the main one. So that we have to, everyone have to put some type of little stone for this big building, right? So we have to cooperate. we have to understand that the virus is not a joke, that it is there. At this moment I heard that 50 people are dying every single hour in the United States. Every hour.
Say that again.
50 people are dying in the United States per hour.
Per hour?
Per hour, yeah, at this moment.
Whoa.
So it is actually a difficult situation that people have to understand, that don't take as a granted. If you're gonna see people, use your mask, right? Use the distance. For example, in church, as pastor, I say to my feligreses, I said, if you feel no good, please don't come, right? The way they come there, we're gonna have a Lysol, we're gonna have the thermometer, we're gonna have the distance 6 feet, and we have to take care of ourselves. So that's one of the situations that we have at this moment, the virus, which is no joke, and everybody had to cover yourself. If you don't have to visit your grandparents, so please leave them alone. Make a phone call. A phone call can make a big difference, right? So call your people. You don't have to see them every day, right? Even though we want to see them. So that's the main issue at this moment. One big issue that we have in the city, and I think it's across the United States, but in the New York City, is the crisis of housing, right? So that's a problem. I actually, when I became city councilman, I'm going to advocate for affordable house for all, no exception. Let me explain myself. So we have a lot of building there, right? But allow some nursing or some police officer or a teacher or a firefighter to apply for those buildings. They will not qualify. And that's not fair. I believe that we should have affordable house for all, no exception. In other words, if I apply in those big building, a brand new building that they're doing it, if I make $50,000, why do I don't qualify? I should qualify. I could pay maybe a little bit more, but I should qualify because I should live in a city that I serve. Yeah. Okay? If you're a nurse and you work in the city of New York, why do you have to look for housing someplace else? And then you have to come over here and serve your people, or a firefighter, or a police officer, or a business person. So, I mean, affordable house for all.
That's awesome.
Housing, affordable housing. Yes, I believe so. So obviously, the crisis or the hospital, so we have to take care of that. All right. So it's so many people, especially the citizen, the senior citizen, that they need our attention. They need that we take care of them. The youth, I could tell you as a pastor. So we grew up saying that the youth are the future, and they are the hope of the church, the hope of the society. This is what we say. And then they grew old and they don't get the hope. They don't get the future. They start saying the same thing, the youth. I believe the youth are the present. We have to take care of our youth. We have to give to the youth the opportunity for them to find job, even when they are starting, right? Get some money, right? Even in our school system, we can use those kids who actually are more advanced on other one, that they could get the English skill easier and the mathematics skill easier. We can prepare them to be tutor and pay them. All right. So the people who deal with gangs and the people who deal with drug dealers, things like that, they will not use our kids if we actually use our kids in the right way. In other words, we can motivate them, incentive them, give them what they need. All right. Empower so we them. Need, empower them. So we need that. For example, we're talking about the policing, right? The police problem that we have out there. The police have good intention to serve our community, but we need to educate more. We need to have more education, more interaction between police and the youth. All right, basketball tournament, baseball, whatever we can do, to get together the community. have more police in the street, working together and interacting with the people in the community. That's a beauty, because we need the police, right? We cannot defund the police at all. I disagree 100% with that. That we need to have the police in our side, because when we have a 911 call, guess who comes first? The police, right? So we have to work together. Our youngsters need us, right? We need our youngster. Right? In church, for example, I cannot do my job, being honest with you, if I don't have those young there. Why? Because they the one who know about technology, right? You give it the opportunity. And they do great. They will help our society. They will help our church. They will help our senior citizen. We need to help the youth. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Laura. And we have one more question for you. And the question is, what are your plans, and how your election will change current states and improve the situation of these issues? And also let us know how we can support you in this process.
Well, I appreciate that. So it is obviously that it's a lot of things that we could do. Going back to the last part of your question, is you can help me a lot, because you are the people who can let other people know who we are. So I have a great appreciation for the press. So you're the one. I hope I could be again in your program, and then we could speak, more about things that we could do when we become city councilmen. But I tell you something. So that housing, affordable housing for all project, when I speak to people, they open their eyes and they feel excited, because it is true what I'm telling you, that it is no good that a person who serves in the city have to leave the city. Mm-hmm. If you take a look at the information about the city, it's a lot of people who actually live in the city. Yeah. I believe it is a shame that our people, when they retire, they have to leave the city when they serve 25, 30 years. It is a shame, because this is the time when they should serve. They could live in the city and enjoy the city, right? Mm-hmm. So we got to do something to change that pattern, right? But for example, the gun in the street. So we're going to have some type of initiative when we got the opportunity to take gun off the street, right? So it's only 3 types of people who should have a gun, which is the police, all right? The people who actually are bodyguard for someone, all right? And the people who actually can apply in the house on the amendment 2, right? That if you have to protect your family, you're entitled to have a gun in your house, not outside. Right, exactly, right? But how come so many shooting in the street? I mean, we have to stop that. And how we want to do that? Educating, buying those guns from those kids, no question asked, $500, no question asked, bring me the gun. So we're going to have that type of initiative, all right? So one thing, for example, that I've been doing is when I become district representative, by the way, I'm at the Bronx High School district rep for high school in the Bronx. So we have a scholarship program. When we have the opportunity to help our kids with what they need when they go to college, we give a laptop, computer, we give a printer, we give a school supply, and we give a book bag. And also we recognize them with a certificate from the city, from the assembly, from the state, from the board of president, and from the United Federation of Teachers. That initiative, I would like to expand it, because if you graduate high school, you should be congratulated. But not only congratulate you, but also motivate you, because society can change if our kids are educated. It is sad that 50% of our people drop out of high school. We have to change that pattern. You know, the children should be in the school since they're pre-K all the way to college. You know, the scholarship or the financial aid should not stop when they actually go to college. They should be able to get a scholarship financial aid all the way until they go to college and finish. Yeah. It's a big difference to a professional people and the people who have no a bachelor degree. Big difference. And I could tell you myself as experience that I coming from Santo Domingo with no English to this country, right? And I got the opportunity to go and teach it because I was a professional, a bilingual teacher, where I had the opportunity to teach mathematics in Spanish, my original language, but I did it because I was professional, right? We have to motivate our kids to become professional, all right? So not only taking a gun off the street, but we also have to help our kids in test preparation. You know, so some of those kids, as you say, you know, they are nervous, they have problems, but we should have more after school programs, right? You as a parent, you don't want to see your kids going to after when they finish school at 3 o'clock, go to your house when you are maybe walking, right? So that kid will be from 3 to 6 until you come from work by themselves. But if you have some type of community school, a school that when the kids finish at 2:30 or 3 o'clock the school, they can stay in the school doing other things, helping other kids, maybe playing there or maybe doing the homework. That will make a big difference, okay? So it's a lot of things that we could do, you know, giving Metro card to senior citizen for free, giving Metro card to a student for free, you know, and so it's a lot of things that we could do. You know, the parking meter, for example, you go, it's a lot of ticket that people get. I believe that you should be able to pull to get your in the parking meter to have a minimum 3 or 4 hours. You know, why do you have to be like crazy going, you know, to run to pay you when other people can use the same hour anyway? So that's another issue that we can, you know, bring it over, but we need that help. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You will see I got like 25 different projects that I would like to put in when I become a consummate. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lara, for being with us this morning. So much
My
information,
pleasure.
and I know that you are ready and raring to go. And we want to wish you all the best in your campaign. And we're definitely looking forward to having you again. You're so full.
Yes,
You're so
yes.
full.
Thank
I
you,
love it.
Beth. Thank you,
Thank
Beth.
you.
Thank you so much. For the people to know that District 18 is the district that are in Parkchester, Sandview, Clason Point, Harding Park, that area in there. The current councilman there is Reverend Ruben Diaz. So he's no longer running. So I'm a pastor. By the way, I am the only pastor running in the whole city of New York.
What?
Right?
Okay.
And also I will be the first Dominican ever doing in the Bronx being a consummate. All right?
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
A huge
so
statement. And we congratulate you. And
My
we
pleasure.
wish you all the best and God's richest blessings on your life and your work.
Thank you so much.
All right. See you next time.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, Jesse, this morning has been nothing short of interesting and exciting and just, I don't know.
It's been powerful. It's been powerful.
It has been, definitely. And so, Jesse,
we are good.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm excited because we're going to move to our community support. All right, guys. So for today, we have an awesome guest in our community support. If you guys are new listening, community support, our primary intent is to help people who have put in efforts to participate in the community to make it better by providing them with support and access to local resources. Today, we have an awesome special guest, Bathsheba Shaw. She is the creator of Dope Empowerment in Jamaica. She is a native of the Garden Parish, St. Anne in Jamaica, West Indies, and is a proud country girl. She has a strong philosophy embedded in serving her community, as evident in her personal and professional life as an aunt, mentor, friend, daughter, and adjunct lecturer. Bathsheba also serves as the Assistant Director of the Jamaica Mental Health Advocacy Network, or JAMAN, She is an educational psychologist and founder of Daughter of the Promise, or Dope Empowerment. Miss Bathsheba Shaw, how are you this morning?
I am fantastic. Thanks for having me. And how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to speak with you today. And I love your lips. For our listeners, she's wearing like an awesome like red lip with the matching red earrings. It's so cute.
Thank you. I had to dress up for you.
Oh, you look good. You look good. Trust me, you look so good. So for our listeners, can you tell us about your name? It's very interesting.
Well, my name, it's a Bible name. And it means literally daughter of the promised, bear of kings. And it's really a unique and special name. Many persons know the story of Bathsheba and David. And oftentimes when I'm asked about my name, that is the story that people remember. But people don't remember the power that comes behind a name such as Bathsheba and the power that she held in David's life and her son, Solomon. So I celebrate that name, and I hope that our persons who are tuning in will learn something new about what the name actually means.
Yeah, that is something new. That's something new that I've heard. So I've never, I know the story, but the connection of the name and what it means and your Dope Empowerment. Tell us about that. How did that come about? What is that all about?
Well, I was going through a personal journey of self-discovery, and I felt like a part of that journey was to understand who I am, define who I am. And I believe that started with my name, what it meant, and how I should embody that. And I asked my mom, what it meant, and she told me about, there's a story of just the lineage of Bathsheba linking to David and Solomon being like the wisest man in the Bible for a very long time. And I think a part of me, the rediscovering myself and wanting to also assist other women to go through that process of self-discovery, it definitely influenced me to name my organization Dope Empowerment, which is really the acronym for Daughter of the Promise, because we're all promises of God, and I want women to embody that promise.
Wow, the connection of that is a complete circle. It's just everything just lines up together. I know you said it was your journey. Can you tell us a little bit of some of your life stories of how it impacted you through this journey?
Oh, wow. There's so many stories. I could speak to my career. It was really, has been a very interesting ride. Went to university, did all the right things that you were told to do. And I had a very idealistic map of what my life and my career should look like. And once I graduated from university, for 2 years, I did not have a job.
Wow.
And that was really disappointing for me because, you're told to go to university and do all the right things and you'll reap the reward. And here I was struggling for 2 years to even get one job.
Oh, wow.
And my faith throughout that process taught me quite a bit just about life and persistence. And that has been a very common theme throughout my life, in personal relationships, having to be broken and to rebuild oneself and to persist to become and to evolve into what I would want to envision myself to be, and also just to walk truly in my destiny.
Wow, that is empowering. And I know this kind of relates to dope. Do you feel that as a woman, that we have been taught to kind of take that stronghold or take that burden and appear strong, and then when we go through weak moments, it's kind of tough for us because we've been taught, whether by parents or just by society, like, no, tough it up. don't let your emotions go through, but you go through life and you can't. What lessons can you say to women that are going through that?
Absolutely, I agree with you. I do believe that as women, we should see ourselves as humans, identify the humanity within us, and a part of our self-definition should not be tied to what society tries to tell us to do, because oftentimes those stereotypical concepts allow us to make decisions that are not healthy for us. It's okay to be broken and to rebuild. It's okay to not be strong all the time and appear weak and want to be supported. It's okay to at times stand strong and to fight through. And it's okay to sometimes feeling like you don't have the fight to go on. And which is why you need your support system to be around you, to champion you when you have those low moments. And I mean, as a Black woman particularly, you have the idea of a strong Black woman. And yes, we all want to be strong Black women, and we all are, but our definition of strength should not be embedded in the idea that we don't have low moments. And it shouldn't be embedded in the idea that somehow we should not feel and we should not at times break when we need to be broken.
Yeah, that is powerful. And can you talk with this empowerment? What is dope and how can dope help with that?
Okay, well, for the most part, Dope Empowerment is really a lifestyle community. And what my objective is to create a space where women can connect and we can be honest with ourselves in conversations about different aspects of our lives and what we are experiencing, our wins, our losses, and share those experiences. Because I think oftentimes persons are somewhat afraid to share, especially those losses, because you don't want to have to think about how embarrassing that loss might be for you. But there might be another person or several persons who might be experiencing a similar loss and gain something from what you would have learned throughout that process. So I want it to be a healthy space where we can open up and share as much as possible, network, and empower each other in different ways, and not just traumatic experiences, but in our careers and just in different aspects of our lives.
Yeah, and people could connect. You don't know what your story may mean to someone else. Your story of them just, of talking to you and telling you their story might be that empowerment that you need to be like, okay, if this person could do it, I could do it. Or this person got through it, I could probably get through my situation too. We have a listener question here. We have a couple of them. They keep coming in. So the first one is, can you share some of the cases your organization has experienced with the women that you serve?
Okay, so we serve a variety of women. In the past, we have partnered with other nonprofit organizations. So I'm going to speak about one specifically. We worked with an organization called E for Life here in Jamaica. And with that organization, they serve women who would have experienced domestic violence, domestic abuse, women who are HIV positive and experience stigmas. And those women, for a lot of the times when you connect with them, they come into the program really broken because of the stigma and the feeling of having no support. No support from an emotional standpoint, financial standpoint, no support in a sense of our belief in self that there is something that I can contribute to the world. There's something I can do. And it's very important when you connect with these women, they can look internally and begin to identify things that will allow them to elevate and to see that, hey, I'm talented in this area.
Right.
I'm good at this thing.
Yeah.
I, my life has meaning even though I went through this thing, or I'm going through this thing right now. So it's really trying to create value in how women see themselves regardless of the circumstances.
Yeah. That is great, because a lot of times people see talent in you, or they see the strength, or see, like you said, the value in you, but you don't see it in yourself. And it could be your self-esteem, it could be the circumstance that you went through. And I really see how this community, how dope it really, that whole connection, it's all like intertwined. We have another question coming in. What are some of the achievements your organization has had?
Okay, well, one of the achievements, we had an empowerment session on International Women's Day, not last year, year before. And that session, we were able to give back to the community of women in particular. We were able to give them gift baskets. We were able to share our stories. We're able to just kind of uplift women in a meaningful way on a day where women are celebrated. So we are very proud that as a very young organization, we're able to pool resources together and support these women in a meaningful way.
Awesome. Oh, look, we have a picture up there. That is absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful. What are some of the testimonials that women that are part of your program have said and stated?
Well, some of the feedback we have received, women are grateful for the honesty in sharing, and the breaking down of the barrier of we need to isolate, we need to keep things to ourselves and to be secretive about our lows and our highs. And they're appreciative particularly about the humanity aspect of us celebrating that. So it doesn't matter what socioeconomic status you are from, or what type of links or connections, or who knows you. It doesn't matter. Just as a person, the fact that you can be a human, you can go through your human experiences, and you can celebrate that, the wins and the losses. I think women appreciate that. And another thing I see too is also the idea that we can create a network where we can say, hey, here are some women that they provide this particular service and this is what they're good at. And other persons can truly authentically celebrate and be like, wow, this could be a way for me to do business with this person, or to support another woman's initiative or movement.
That is great, and it helps other businesses too.
Absolutely.
So we have another question coming in, and they said, okay, this is kind of 2 for 1. So one is, how active are you right now in this current COVID time? And how have you used social media during the pandemic to continue your cause?
Okay, so I'm just going to answer that in one. So as a response to COVID-19, I created what I call an online series that I do on Instagram and on Facebook, and it's called Dope Women Link Up. So Dope Women Link Up, it's really to celebrate women in different fields who are just killing it. And it's a way to share information on persons who have created businesses, especially during the pandemic, persons whose businesses have been affected during the pandemic, and not just persons in business, but just women in general and what they're doing. We want to be able to share information on them. So I do an interview and just share information with the general public on what is it that these women are doing. And just to add to that as well, I am a mental health advocate, and so a part of what I have done so far, I've had mental health conversations on my platform with other mental health professionals and provided information on resources so persons can access if needed. So it's really a holistic type of approach that we've taken so far in supporting persons within the public space.
Awesome. Can I have your take on, because you are a psychologist, your take on the mental health and how that's affecting families, women, children, women that may be in a domestic abusive relationship, but they can't leave because of the pandemic. Can you have your take on what's going on?
Wow, well, during this pandemic, it's really a tough time for many persons. Women, as you mentioned, who are in abusive situations, children as well, who are in abusive situations, persons who have lost their jobs. So there's a financial aspect to that as well. It's important that we acknowledge that this is the reality for many persons. And even though for us, we might be somewhat okay, but we're also not okay. So can you just imagine what it is like for someone who has to now deal with the isolation that comes with a pandemic, as well as an additional issue of abuse and neglect and just all of those other factors. And so it's important that if we are aware of persons who are going through these things, is to form a supportive community around those persons and to also seek help. Right now, because of COVID, a lot of us cannot do face-to-face therapy, but there are a lot of online support groups that persons can perhaps access, as well as persons are offering, I know in Jamaica, therapeutic services virtually, and I'm sure that's the same in other parts of the world as well. So I would say utilize the internet to find information on mental health resources, but I know that right now it's really a difficult time for many persons, and it's important that we pay attention and we support as best as possible our children in particular. A lot of the times parents are dismissive of their own children's mental health experiences because they're children. So we assume that they don't have quote unquote problems, and we don't really think about the dynamic of what that could look like for a child. We should have honest conversations. How are you feeling? What is this like for you? Because remember now, our children, for the most part, are not being allowed to go to school, connect with their friends, other family members. It's really a stressful time for everyone. So parents, I would say to use this opportunity to have honest conversations with your children, and also use this opportunity to bond deeper. Sometimes we are so busy that we don't take the time out to really develop these family relationships, to have them really rooted and grounded. And I think we have an opportunity here during this pandemic to do that.
That is great. So we have two last questions. And sadly, there have to be our last ones because you have to come back. Okay, you have to come back.
Absolutely.
So, first question is, do you have a website? Because people need to get in contact with you. And second one is, how can we support DOPE?
Okay, well, I don't have a website right now. I'm working on it. But I'm on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, and my handle is _dope_empowerment. I'm on Facebook as Dope Empowerment. I'm also on Twitter as Dope Empowerment as well. So you can find me on all three social media platforms, and we can connect, feel free. But the website is coming because it is needed.
Awesome. And from that picture, can I get a dope shirt? Can we purchase that somewhere?
Oh, that's also coming too. I could show you my shirt.
Ooh, yes, I'm gonna be on the lookout, guys. It's coming.
It's coming.
All right. So thank you so much, Ms. Shaw. I loved having you on as a guest, and I know that you would hopefully come back to our show, because the information that you have and the community that you're building and empowering women is absolutely amazing. And I know this needs to be heard so many times, and it's going to help so many people.
Thank you so much. And also just for your viewers, just remember to connect with us and Dope Women Link Up. We usually have that on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Jamaica time. So just connect with us and tune into our wonderful conversations. And the women that we speak with on Dope Women Link Up, it's not just women that I know. So if or your listeners know women that they want to be featured on my program, just reach out to me and let's have a conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Shaw, for coming on today. I know this isn't going to be the last, and I hope you have a blessed Saturday.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. All right, guys. How did you guys feel about that? Marsha, how did you feel about that? I loved her.
You already know that my purpose in life is to empower 1 million people through what I do. And so just listening to Bathsheba this morning, I felt so proud because knowing that there are younger persons out there that have a keen interest in empowering people is important because young people can get distracted by anything at all. They can get it. And when they have settled down and they really are focusing not just on themselves, because human by nature is selfish, right? But they can look on and say, hey, what do I have that I can give to you and allow you to be better for it? So I am so happy to have Dope on here this morning. I feel dope already.
Yeah, me too. We are dope.
We are definitely dope. Wow, Champions for the Kingdom. Champions of the Kingdom is where we celebrate Black creatives and give them a voice to share their gifts with the world. Today we have with us a very special guest, and she is Christian recording artist, Mrs. Sandra Stewart. Good morning, Lady Sandra. How are you?
Good morning, Lady Marsha. I'm doing very well, thank you. And what about you?
I am feeling fantastic.
Can you hear me? I'm not sure. I'm trying to make sure that everything is good here.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
There it is.
Yes, it's so good to have you on our program this morning. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's really great being here with you.
Yes. All right, so tell us about yourself. Who is Sandra Stewart?
Wow. Now that's a whole lot right there. I was born here in Kingston, Jamaica, and studied here, went to school here and everything. And finally, I left Jamaica in 1983 to go to the United States. But now my husband and myself have retired and we have come back to our beautiful island.
Wow. What was your profession?
Well, various professions. I did some clerical work, secretarial work while I was here. I worked with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Agriculture, and I used that opportunity while at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to actually go to Mexico City. I wanted to do that to practice my Spanish some more. So I got the opportunity to actually do a 4-month intensive oral Spanish course.
Wow, so I better watch my Spanish.
Yes, so entonces estoy aquí. Gloria a Dios.
¿Yo comprende español muy poquito?
¿Un poquito?
Sí.
Es mucho, yo creo.
Oh, gracias.
So, that took me abroad and I just enjoyed the fact that I could get to understand other cultures and enjoyed Mexico City and enjoyed the people so much that I wanted to live there. I was actually going to resign from the Jamaican embassy to live there, but I guess that was not God's plan. So that didn't happen. And I came back and then, went back again. So to other places, but that's a part of my journey.
Wow. And now you are in, what should I say? You're retired from your secular job, but now you're in full-time ministry mode.
Yes. Well, yes, and during that course of time, I did various things. I did a little bit of nursing. Just prior to, I also worked with a maternity home for pregnant teens and women in
Wow.
North Carolina, and that for 15 years as a program coordinator. That itself was like a ministry, not just a job,
Interesting.
because we saw 108 babies saved from abortion. We had 108 babies born in that program during that space of time. Then I went into substitute teaching, and then finally here because the program closed down. So yes, I'm here with my husband, and we are retired, as I said before, and the Lord has led us into ministry, which we had no idea that was going to happen at all. So we are very, very privileged to, to be able to receive that calling from the Lord.
That's awesome. Awesome. And let me just take the time to say, I think once an essential worker, always an essential worker. So thank you for all you have done in the medical field.
Thank you. That means you have been one too.
Definitely. So I want to find out from you the transition from all those things into music. What's the testimony behind that?
The thing is, I actually started singing at about 6 years old.
Wow.
I guess that was always ingrained in me, and God has given me a gift, which I realized. And I started singing in school here in Jamaica, in primary school.
Yeah.
And I remember singing Nobody's Business But Me Own.
Oh, wow. That's an old school one.
That's way, way, way back there, and then I got the opportunity to become a part of the Arden High School Choir in Kingston. Got training from Noel Dexter, who was very well known in Jamaica, but he really drilled us. He drilled us, and he wanted the best to come forth. So we had to learn how to enunciate, how to project. He would say, hit the wall. And we had to, without a mic now, you had to make sure your voice would carry. And so he taught us that, the breathing exercises and all of that. He entered some of us into the solo competition. Yes. And, we got our little trophies and what have you. And so that was very encouraging. And then even after school, I decided, which was high school, I decided that I wanted to continue the training. So I would go back to him for that, private lessons.
Yes.
So, and then that led me into, when I went to the United States, I finally became a part of a praise team in North Carolina. And that was also a part of the experience, to be able to share with them, how to enunciate and all the things that I had learned. I wanted to make sure other people could do the same, so that itself was really good. I need to back up a little bit, because I was also, and I'm not sure if I shared this with you, but I was also a part of the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir in New York City.
Listen, shout out to Brooklyn Tabernacle. This is a New York station. And so shout out to Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir. Yes. That's a big deal.
Yes, that was for about 5 years, between 1985 and 1990. Yes, I was a member of the choir, and that was an awesome experience, really.
Wow.
I think it pulled certain things out of me. And it was just a remarkable experience, having to as you know, when we started, it was about maybe, I would say, 150 of us in the choir at that time. That is bigger than some congregations, right?
I know.
And now there are like about 350 of them singing on the platform there at Brooklyn Tabernacle. A completely different building. But that was really a wonderful experience for me,
Wow. Could you take us down that memory lane for a minute or two? What was the experience like, and how did it impact your worship culture?
Okay. Well, first of all, I was really drawn to the director, Pastor Jim Cimbala's wife, Carol Cimbala.
Yes.
Just her whole demeanor and how she approached worship. That I noticed it. She did not realize that I was just observing her, and just taking in everything. When it came to worship, she would just unloose her everything inside of her. Her entire being became so involved in it. And I saw that, and I really, that's something I admired, because that's something I personally believe in. I believe in not just coming before the Lord and just giving him lip service.
Yes.
I believe that my entire being, my heart, my soul, everything inside of me has got to get to that place where it yields to him completely and becomes enamored with him. And I saw that in her, and I just yearned for that myself. I had already had that inside of me, but I think that kind of pulled it out even more, and I didn't even realize that she was watching me while I was watching her. I mean, there were so many of us, 150 of us, and yet she was also watching me. And I remember one time she asked me to introduce the choir in front of, I don't know how many people, when we were visiting Chicago. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Not me. Really, really, really? No. And she said, yes, you. And she left it alone. I said, well, I'm going to go into a little corner and I'm just going to pray before we go on stage. And I did that. And I was even asking some of the choir members, please pray for me. So
I'm very familiar with that type of fare.
Right. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And I stood there, and I just, after a couple of minutes, I felt so comfortable, and I was just sharing, from my heart, introducing that. I don't even remember what that song was, but I was able to introduce the song under the anointing. And I was like, God, I thank you. I praise you for this, and she kept watching me. And after a while, she approached me and asked me to be one of the female choir leaders. And I was like, that is amazing. Wow. Yes, and that was an honor, because we had male choir leaders. You would come into choir practice, sign your name and what have you. And then you would also, if you had any kind of issues, you could go to that choir leader and just talk to them, And she felt that we only had male choir leaders, and she needed some female ones. So there ended up to be two of us as choir leaders.
Wow.
And I was just flabbergasted, because I'm like, oh, really? And I tended to have been a little quieter then. Some people might say, no, you're not quiet. But that pulled all of that out of me, I think. And that was a part of the stepping stone into the ministry God has called my husband and myself into, where leadership is concerned. So yes. I see his hand in all of that. I really do.
Wow.
Yes.
And you touched a little bit of my next question. I was about to ask you the lessons, just to draw on some of the lessons, because a lot of us who are leaders, we start by being servants first, right? Mm-hmm. So based on your whole experience up to that point, what would you say to a person who is now being drafted into a music department, let's say? What are some of the lessons that you would share with them to be mindful of transitioning from a servant to a servant leader?
Wow. No, I like how you said servant leader, because a lot of times people will think a leader can't be a servant. But just to put a little thing in here, my name, Sandra, actually means servant.
Wow.
It means servant, helper of mankind. And, when I realized what the meaning was and is, I realized that that's why I've walked through some of the things I have. It is so very important to know who we are. Yes, even as leaders, to recognize our own limitations, our own shortcomings, and what have you, which, you know, sometimes we don't want to say that. We want people to always see us in a good light. And if they see our shortcomings and our weaknesses, they might think a little bit less of us. But what we have to do is we have to be transparent. And personally, we always have to remember the one that we serve, that he is the Almighty. He is the great I am that I am. He is so big, so large, and he's always to be magnified. So when, as leaders, when we stand before him, we realize that, as the Bible says, we are grasshoppers in his sight. Yet he doesn't treat us as grasshoppers. You know, that's the beauty of it. So when we see our shortcomings, when we see our own weaknesses, at the same time, we realize who we are in Christ Jesus, and we are called to righteousness. He sees us differently from how we see ourselves sometimes. Even to be called a pastor, I'm still trying to work with that one. So is my husband. We're like, you don't see yourself that way because you keep looking at yourself. But then we have to tell ourselves, okay, you still remain humble, but then you say to yourself, this is how God sees me. This is how God sees me, what I will become, because he has placed his calling upon my life. He saw something there, and he's also deposited something there that he wants to use to build up his kingdom.
Beautiful, so beautiful. And at this time, I would like you to share one of your songs with us. We may not be able to play all of it because we're running back out of time, but at least a good minute, 2 minutes. Are you ready for that?
Yes, I think I'm going to share He's Been Faithful, because even the person who recorded it told me sometime later after the recording that while he was working on it, tears were coming down his eyes.
Wow.
You know, coming down his face, and he was just really broken. So I pray this song would just minister, not just the beauty of the song, but the words and the meaning behind it will minister to your heart and to all the hearts of those who are listening today. And it's called He's Been Faithful. So we're going to try and do that now. My husband is working on it.
Good morning, sir. I know I see you moving in the background. Good morning, Mr. Stewart, Pastor Stewart. Miss God. We can perhaps do about a minute or so.
Okay, you just started it. In my moments of fear, through every pain, every tear, there's a God who's been faithful to me. When my strength was all gone, when my heart had no song, still in love, he's still faithful to me. Every word he promised is true. What I thought was impossible, I've seen my God do. He's been faithful, faithful to me. Looking back, yes, what mercy I see. Oh, in my heart, I question, to be
Wow, that's so beautiful.
When my heart looked away, the many times I could not pray, still my God was faithful to me. The days I spent.
Wow, I was just getting it.
You wanted to continue?
We can't continue, unfortunately, but that was a beautiful rendition of Faithful. And that's actually one of my favorite songs, you know, just to know that God has been faithful even when we have been faithless and unfaithful. It's a powerful, powerful sentiment.
Thank you. And you know what? Just to interject, that song was actually written by Carol Simbal, my former choir director of Brooklyn Tabernacle.
Awesome.
Yes,
And with that being said, tell us some more about your music. How many songs have you recorded to date or albums? And do you write? Do you do just covers? Because this one was a cover. Tell us some more about that.
Well, actually, I have 5 songs on this album, the one album that I've done so far.
Yeah.
Started off as a demo album with 3 songs, which was He's Been Faithful, Mercy Seat, and We Shall Behold Him. And then some years later, the Lord actually gave me 2 more songs, which would be The Savior is Calling and When God's Love Comes. Those 2 songs. Those 2 I was able to write and, you know, got the copyright for those in Washington. But I remember one night I was on my way down to bed and I was just talking to the Lord, and all of a sudden it was like I had some people turn up in my bedroom and I heard a song. I heard them singing and just like harmony. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what is this? Of course.
This was a supernatural experience?
Yes, I heard the songs. And I was the only one in my bed. My husband was working that night. And I said, oh my goodness, Lord, I've got to remember these words. I was really tired. And I said, would you please help me to remember them in the morning? But I really need to sleep right now. He did. He didn't bring it back to me the next day, but I heard it. The Savior is calling. And as I say, I could hear the music, I could hear the harmony, and I started writing. And so I realized that God had given me that song. And then later on, I heard the words for When His Love Comes.
Wow.
And so I was able to, you know, work with the same person who did the recording for me and put that together for those 2. So there are 5 songs right now on this album, and it's called In Pursuit of His Glory.
Awesome. Could you tell us where to find your album?
Well, I don't really have anywhere right now. I don't. I'm looking. It's right here.
I love you. Listen, I love you. All right. So let me put it this way, right? If I wanted to get a copy, is there a number or an email address I could reach out to you?
Yes, definitely. Because I do have a few copies and I can duplicate them. My email address, of course, is ZadieCad, and I'll spell it Z as in zebra, A as in apple, D as in David, I as in igloo, E as in egg, C as in cat, A as in apple, D as in David at yahoo.com. And I don't know if you need a phone number.
Yes, please.
As well, which is 876-973-7301.
Lady Sandra, thank you so much for all that information. You definitely inspired us this morning. We definitely have to have you back. There's such a purity about your story, about your spirit. And, I pray that the Lord will continue to bless you now that you have returned to Jamaica to serve. I know that many people will be blessed by who you are, what you do, and what the Lord has given you to birth in that island, Jamaica.
Thank you so much, Marsha. You've been just such a gracious host, and I want to bless you and bless your ministry as well. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Okay.
And please tell your husband thank you too, because I know he's yes, bring him
Going
on.
on.
Hey, Pastor, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And thank you too.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay. Talk to you later. God bless you. God bless you. Jesse, it has been an awesome morning.
Yes, I love Sandra. Her energy is so refreshing. It's just amazing. And I didn't know that she was part of Brooklyn Tab because Brooklyn Tab is my church. So when she said that, I was like, wait, hold up. Run it back.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
Nice meeting you, Jesse.
Nice meeting you too, Miss Sandra.
It's been a beautiful morning.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, ladies.
Yes, you too.
Yes, you too.
Thank you. God bless.
You too. All right, Jesse. Over to you.
Okay. All right, guys. So I know we heard music from Miss Sandra, who was really empowering us and traveling to another just awesome area. So now we're going to talk about travel. And today we have awesome guest, Miss Donna Upchurch from North Carolina. She's going to talk about how this pending proof of C-19 vaccine, how that affects church ministries. And the missions. But before that, we have a short clip. So let's go look at that.
Now to the latest on the COVID vaccines. A major airline CEO saying eventually all international passengers will be required to show proof of vaccination. This is raising new questions on how far vaccine rules will go.
All right. So, Miss Upchurch, thank you so much for being on our show this morning. How are you? Oh, I think you're on. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yep, there you are. We can hear you. Yep. How are you this morning?
I'm great. I'm trying to make sure this thing doesn't go out on me.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. So for our listeners who are just meeting you, I'll tell a little story, a little rundown. So you have been traveling missionary for 25 years, and you focused on children, and you teach them about Jesus through VBS, which is short for Vacation Bible School. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how you got started in the first place and how that is part of your passion?
Well, when I was 17, which was a few years ago, I started out traveling with Sister Ann Baines, which was a missionary to a lot of different countries, and also my mother, Mary, she also traveled with her too, and that's how I got started. We went to different churches, and back then we had a lot of teams, and so we had more areas that we could cover. Of course, it's kind of dwindled down a little bit, but we still cover the entire United Lifeline churches, which is 5 different churches right now. So we just traveled, and and we did Vacation Bible School with the kids. We would sing different songs with them. They would sing to us their songs. We showed them different motions to songs, so they could learn that. We taught, the Bible lessons. Sometimes we would teach like the David and Goliath, and then other times we would just teach about salvation and how to become a Christian and just different things. And, we put it on their level and just really enjoyed it. And they seemed to love it. And we had different crafts and things that we would make with them. And we'd go outside and just have fun, play games and different things like that. And it was just a great time. We do that just about every year. Like I say, this is 25 years for me, which I didn't get to come this year because of the COVID, which was sad because I really missed that. That's just my passion. That's just what I love to do.
Oh, that's so great. So what are some of the places that you go to? I know Jamaica is one of them. Why do you keep go, and what makes you keep going back to all of these places?
Jamaica is mainly the place that I have been as far as missionary. I do a lot of missions work here at home too. We go to Raleigh, which is the capital here, and we go feed the homeless. We go into different communities in our area and just minister to them and pray for them and things like that. But my main place is Jamaica. That's where I normally go. So.
And why Jamaica? What is it? The culture that draws you to it? Is it the people? Is it the food? Why Jamaica?
I just fell in love from the very beginning. I just love it. It's beautiful. I love the food, of course. I miss the food when I don't get. I try to make it myself, and it still doesn't taste anything like theirs. It's just, but the culture, the people, I love. My home base is United Lifeline Church of God, which is where Miss Marsha goes. Her dad is the pastor, and mom is. But I fell in love with the country, the people, and the children, and they have my heart.
Oh, awesome. That's so sweet. So can you tell me, how has this pandemic affected your ministries and your missions down there?
It's pretty much put it to a halt, and which is it's really hard because I've just been used to going and every year, and just not being able to go to this year has really just put a toll on me, mental, just spiritually, because that's my passion. That's what God called me to do, and it's very hard that I can't go right now because of it. And it really has just hurt my heart a lot because that's where I know God has put me, and just not being able to go because of this pandemic has really been tough on me. I try to keep up with, the people there, Marsha and different ones, and some of the children. We have had Zoom calls, meetings and different things just to be able to see them and to still talk with them. But it's really been tough. And I know God's got a plan. I know I'll be back. And so I just trust him, know that he's going to work it all out, and I'll be back there soon.
Yes, he will. So I have a 2-for-1 question here. So first is, what are your thoughts on the upcoming C-19 vaccine needed for international travel? And are there any fears surrounding that?
I think it's a good thing because we definitely need something to just fight this disease, fight this virus. And I pray that it is a safe vaccine. That is my only fear, maybe that, or concern, should I say, that I want to make sure that it is safe before I take it. I definitely will take it as long as I, have, the safety involved and because I definitely want to be able to start to live life again, basically, because we've just kind of, and be able to start doing what I need to do. So, but I definitely would take it so I can be able to start doing these things again.
Yeah, I think that safety is a big thing. I think majority of people, not that they don't want to take the vaccine, but it's that safety of, and then how fast it's been coming out, and we are used to vaccines. We're just like, oh, this taking, usually takes a little bit. Like, how are you getting this, so fast? But I think the safety of it is just the main thing that maybe some people.
Yeah, definitely.
How, I know you mentioned really quick about using technology for your missions right now to cope with the vaccine. So what are some ways that you're connecting with the kids?
A while back, we were doing Zoom meetings with one of the children's leaders there in the church, and I got involved there, and I was able to join with them so I could be a part of the meetings and see the children and interact with them, and that was awesome. And what's up? I do a lot of that because, just talking back and forth with them that way. So that's my main two things that I do to keep in touch.
Awesome. I have, two more really quick. I know that you're also a speaker and recording artist. So has that impacted? What kind of genre do you tend to sing about? Are you still doing that?
I mainly sing maybe in church, or once in a while I may get an invitation to another church to come and sing or minister. I'm not doing as much as I would be doing because our churches are really just getting back to in-house right now. Of course, with precautions, the mask and different things, but it's just kind of slowed it down a whole lot. I don't sing as much as I really want to, but that's just because of what's going on now. But it'll get better.
It'll get there. Yes, you're so right. And last question, because I really want our listeners to know how they can support you with your missionary work, especially down in Jamaica. So how can people support you?
I normally, every year, I usually do a GoFundMe page or some type of thing like that for the missions. I haven't started one for this upcoming year yet, but anybody can reach me at my email. I can give them information on how to contribute or to help. Not just contributions, but just praying for the teams and different ones that go, and just helping us to prepare and going and doing what God wants us to do. So, but I can give you my email address if anyone wants to get in touch with me. That would be great. I'm also on Facebook and What's Up, so you can reach me by that.
Awesome. So what is your email address and WhatsApp number and your Facebook
page? Let me see. Trying to see if I can post it. I can tell you and then I'll post it. It's called Harvest Time Men, MIN, at yahoo.com.
And what's your WhatsApp?
My WhatsApp is, my number is 252-343-7574.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Upchurch. I had a pleasure to speaking with you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You really
You
shared
too.
some great insight, and I really hope one day you will get back to do your awesome missionary work and passion right in Jamaica.
Definitely. I'm so excited and waiting. I've got so many things that I'm ready to just go and do. I've had a whole year to just keep getting things together, and it's piling up at this point. So I'm probably going to have a few people to come with me so I can get it all there. Because we do a lot for the kids. We also do school supplies, different things like that, with the pencils, erasers, crayons, just like that. Try and go over and help them with their school, so because I know it's, some people don't have it, and so I try to help to get the ones that need it. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I just wanted to add to that. Hi, Auntie Donna. How are you? But
hi, Marsha.
Yeah. For persons who would like to do missions work and you're not connected to a team, then you can also team up with Auntie Donna and, just help. Because sometimes when she comes by herself and she does all 6 churches. That's how,
True.
does it. So if you're interested in traveling, then you can always connect with us here at UMERADIO, and we'll connect you with Auntie Donna so that you can do some missions work as well.
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today. God bless you. Listen, Jesse, today was just one of those days because you didn't get to do your college life segment, girl.
I know. But it's okay because the guests that we had on the show were just amazing, and I could listen to them talk whenever. So next time.
Yes. And we want to say to those who are listening, if this content has helped you in any way, remember to pass it on and go ahead and download our UMERADIO app and subscribe to our website. Like, share, turn on the notification bell for YouTube. Just keep up with us, right, Jesse?
Yeah, we are on all platforms, and don't be afraid while you guys are tuning in ever to comment, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel because we post our videos up there too, and awesome news segments on UMERadio.com.
Definitely. We want to say thank you so much to everyone for listening. And we want to give a big shout out to our executive producers. We have Keith Marrett and we have DJ Kelly behind the scenes. Yes, for doing what she does every single week and making us look professional for the Lord. Amen to that. And we also want to thank those who are listening in from the various platforms because, hey, this is what we do, right, Jesse? We amplify
the voice of positive influencers.
Exactly, through education, motivation, and inspiration. And we trust that we have empowered you, not just for today, but for
the rest of the week.
And that's what we have to say. Goodbye. God bless you and see you next week. Same time.
Weekend on UMERadio. Get the UMERadio app.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Oh, yes, girl. Get your cup of tea and mic check, 1, 2. I am so ready.
To inspire, motivate, and educate. Weekends on UMERadio. The sun is up and so are we.
News, interviews, hot topics. Connect with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Follow, comment, subscribe.
We're everywhere. UMERadio app, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and all other digital platforms. Email us info@umeradio.com. On WhatsApp, 201-503-6731. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UMERadio. Follow me, Jesse, on Instagram at ink.jess, that's ink.jess, and on Facebook at Jesselyn Abel, that's JESSELYNE, Abel, ABEL.
And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J, or you can just check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UMERadio with Marsha J and Jesse.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube.